Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Liberty Den. Hope you guys all had a great week. We're going to try to close it out on a high note for you. I am so far joined only by Jatred. He's the only one that is on time.
Yeah, and I told you I wasn't going to be on time, so I'm impressed with myself.
I'm impressed with you too, and I'm not surprised by everybody else because for whatever reason, these co-hosts of ours just don't take the show very seriously, and whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm dealing with 114 degrees in my town today in Arcadia. It's not normal, but the worst part about it is not the heat and dealing with the heat. It's dealing with the freaking climate change assholes that come out of the woodworks. And I had to work on a bunch of them today at my office. And, oh, this isn't proof of global warming. I don't know what is. And then I try to remind them how, like, when I was in high school, if we had a day over 100 degrees, our principal would give us a half day because we didn't have any air conditioning in our school.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was brutal. This is back before air conditioning was invented, John. I'm an old man, but
man,
yeah. So like every day, like we would go to his office with like the newspaper with the forecast for the day. Like, hey man, it's gonna be 101 today, and he was like, all right, half day. So I reminded them, and I do that so I can, without saying, hey, there is no such thing as climate change. This is just weather, and we've had it since the beginning of time. I remind them that like half of September was over 100 degrees in this area when I was a kid. So
that's crazy, man. I don't know. Would you rather have that or have to deal with like minus 40?
I'll take the climate change assholes with the 114. I don't know. But I don't know. You know, there's something minus 40 is extreme. Like I can do cold. You can layer up and all that stuff. And like when it's hot, there's only so much clothes you can take off before you get arrested. So,
right.
So I don't know. Maybe I would take minus 40. It sounds pretty good right about now, but
to me, it's like once you get below, I don't even know what it is, like 0 or something.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. It's cold. It's just like you go outside, you're freezing cold, and you kind of get used to it.
Yeah, over 100 is like bearable until you start getting up into the high, like 107, 108s, and then you get into the 110s, and it's like stepping into an oven. So I don't know, man. Minus 40 sounds good.
It was perfect out here today. It was like 60s, got up to 70s for a little bit, and then chilled down a little bit, but it was perfect.
What was up with, like, by the way, I meant to ask you about this. Is this normal? Because the day after I left Deadwood, there was like a hailstorm. It was like 80 something degrees and kind of a little humid, but like clear as day. And then a freaking hailstorm with hail the size of golf balls rolls through. What's up with that?
I mean, the hailstorms generally in this area are, I mean, I wouldn't say normal, but they happen every so often.
But in August?
Deadwood has weird weather. Like we were on the golf course, it'd be perfectly sunny out, and then it'd just start raining. And it's like that all the time. It's like sunny, all of a sudden you get hit by rain for a little bit out of nowhere. And so yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that we had hail like that.
Summer rain seems normal, but like, doesn't it have to be pretty damn cold for it to hail? Like we only get hail out here when it's like damn near freezing.
I don't know. Does it even get damn near freezing there though?
It does. It in the winter. I mean, at night it'll get into occasionally it'll get into the 20s, but mostly 30s, 40s.
Who are you people? Where the hell do you live? That's nuts.
That's nothing I know. But like seriously, hail in August? I don't know. That just seems like very odd.
It could be worse, man.
Hey,
real
man,
quick, I want to get a word in from our sponsor before I forget. And then at some point tonight, Patrick is joining, probably in about 25 minutes or so. Alfredo, Alpha Warrior, is supposed to be joining us, and no surprise, he's late. CanCon said he would join us after the Packers game, and so we could probably check in the score and
shit. I tore myself away from the Packers game to be here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's 8 minutes left in the third quarter, so he's not going to be here for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
What's
the score right now?
26-24. The Packers are actually winning. That is surprising. But yeah, anyway, real quick word from our sponsor of tonight's show. We got Ascent Nutrition. All right, guys. Many of you have heard us talking about our sponsor, Ascent Nutrition. We're happy to report that the pine needle extract is back in stock. This is their wild harvested pine needle tea product and is their best seller that we've talked a lot about over the past year. It is extracted to be stronger than pine needle tea itself and is wild harvested, easy to use, and tastes incredible. Stuff, I love it, guys. And the fact they have it back in stock is awesome. And I'm sure it'll be back out of stock before you know it. So make sure you guys pick up this stuff. It's great for detoxification, your immune system, respiratory system, brain, gut health, everything. So safe for kids and adults. And although their pine needle extract is back in stock, it's most likely going to sell it again. Like I said, now's the best time to try if you haven't yet. Stock up for the winter months. Go to the link is in the description of this video. So go to the description of this video, click on the link, use promo code Liberty for 15% off your whole order. Again, the link in the description of this video. And we do have somebody else I wasn't expecting to be here.
Oh dear.
Decided to grace
Why are you?
J-Tree it with my presence.
No, I thank you.
Who
I owe
invited
you.
you?
I owe you big time.
This is what I get for posting the invite link in the public chat. You get the
Yeah.
riffraff. You can't control it.
It's true. People can just filter in.
God dang it. Okay, well, at least I
So
don't have
you're-
to talk as much. That's nice.
I don't talk a lot, man. I'm just,
You kind of do, but sometimes
so
it's
you're-
good,
got
sometimes
my,
it's bad.
I've got my mojito, which is mostly rum, as you can tell.
That does not look like a mojito.
It looks like rum, though.
Where's the green leaves?
I actually have mint leaves in my yard, and I did have one earlier today with actual mint leaves in it, but this one is just a half-ass. Rum mixed with mojito mix. So it's not that authentic. It's just
It's not a mojito.
just mix.
What are you drinking, J-Trade?
I got some weird Guatemalan liqueur that a patient gave me, and I mixed it with Dr. Pepper because that's all I had. So
Nice.
it's interesting. It's got a little bit of like a fruity kind of taste to it, little tingy, like rummy sort of, but I don't know. It's pretty good. I'm probably gonna die of some crazy parasite or something. I don't know how
Yeah, it's like
legit this stuff
that's the
was.
parasites that give it its real character.
Yeah. So if I disappear, you'll know where I'm at.
There you go.
What was the drink of choice for you guys, and or crazy sort of weird drink stories from college? Any weird ones, or high
Me?
school,
Weird.
or preschool, whatever?
Well, I didn't start drinking. My mom told everybody about this
Yeah.
in Deadwood. I didn't start drinking until my sophomore year of college, my Christmas break. And I forgot I did this though. Like after semester was over, I went out with buddies. I think we all got a hotel room and we were drinking Blue Moons the whole night. And at some point I called my mom and was like, "Mom, I drank for the first
The
time. I got
guilt.
drunk. I'm so sorry." Like,
The guilt was eating him alive.
yeah, but then shortly thereafter that, and this is like my nightmare, and it was drinking rum too. I drank too much Captain Morgan, and it probably wasn't even that much, but for somebody who didn't drink, and I
Yeah.
puked my guts out, and I could not touch rum for a long ass time after that. Honestly, the first rum I could drink again was the Flying Gang rum.
Me too.
Response.
Well,
yeah.
not because I got sick, but I actually didn't like rum because I hated Captain Morgan's because I had it in college and got sick on it.
Yeah. Stuff's nuts.
And
What's
yeah,
up, Al?
Flying Gang
Yeah.
got me back into rum.
I drank the most disgusting thing you can imagine. I started drinking pretty early, but like my freshman year of high school, we would go to this like drive-through market, and I would steal my dad's car. Didn't have a driver's license, and we'd drive through in this big Buick, Park Avenue, and somehow that was going to make us seem older. But they would sell us, but we, for whatever reason, we would get Schlitz malt liquor. And then we would like drink half of the can, like a 40, and then we would just pour various like things from our parents' liquor cabinet into
Jungle
it, like
juice.
mix it.
Did
It
you
was
guys call
jungle
it
juice,
jungle
but
juice?
Jungle
yeah,
juice,
we
yeah.
did, but
Yeah.
it was absolutely disgusting. You couldn't drink anything more disgusting than that. But
Yeah.
that's how I started drinking. Like it was not
Worst
yeah,
drink I ever tasted was Goldschlager.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'll.
God.
That's like
Hey.
Tastes like a fireball, right? Like
I-
cinnamon fireball.
yeah.
Doesn't it have like gold flakes in it?
It has gold
Yeah.
flakes, and I'll tell you a little story about that. When I was in chiropractic school, a bunch of us went out one night and we were doing shots of Schlager, like it was
Ugh.
water. And the next day we had we had we were learning how to take X-rays, so we had like the X-ray doctor like was like at our clinic, and we had to take lumbar, spine, low back X-rays and develop them, and everything was the old school like film and everything. And the teacher was like, he's like, what the hell's going on? He's like, you guys have artifacts on all of your films.
No
And
way.
artifacts are like if you have like jewelry on, like it'll show up really, really white because it's metal. Metal shows up white. And so you could see it was clearly in our intestines, you know? And he's like, did you guys drink Goldschlager last night? I'm like, yeah, we did. We drank a
No
lot of
way.
it. And he's like, holy crap, it's like real gold flakes.
Did you
apparently,
swallow
know?
gum 6 years ago?
Right. Yes. Waiting for that to show up.
How is that safe
yeah,
though? Like, how can you swallow
It
gold flakes
seems
and it not
really
kill you?
unsafe. Yeah. It seems,
Yeah.
seems
I
like
don't know.
heavy metal poisoning is very, very
I think it
possible
attracts
from
wealth,
that.
actually. I think
Speaking
the
of
more
that,
Goldschlager you drink-
badlandsgold.com. Badlandsgoldschlager.com. We need a
That's right.
Goldschlager.
Do they even make
sponsor.
Goldschlager anymore? Or did they?
They do, I
ru-
think.
I don't know. They got rid of all the fun drinks.
Yeah.
What was the one?
I used to make
Four
Jägermeister.
Four Locos.
Four Locos. Yeah, I never did that because I like basically can't have energy drinks. If I have like half a Monster, I'll run through a wall. So I didn't mess with that, which is probably a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of cops heard a lot about Four
Yup.
Loco, right? A lot of calls.
What's your story, Alpha? You got a story, I can tell.
Yes, I do, man. It was at Motel 6, right
Of course. So it was classy as hell. is what you're
Yes.
saying.
Let me defend Motel 6. It was in the parking lot
Don't you
of-
dare
of Motel
defend
6.
Motel
Where
6.
where only good things happen, Alpha.
in on East Palm Canyon in Cathedral City. So you guys,
Know right where that is.
if you ever drive by there, you'll know. Dude,
Oh, I'm aware of it.
they call us because this dude says drunk. Everybody's drinking Four Locos because when we get there, the cans are all over the place. The crazy thing is, there was only about 9 of them, and there was probably like 20 some cans.
Oh,
Like,
Wow.
you know, and yeah, and Four Locos is wicked.
Yeah, for anybody who's never done that, it's not like having 2 beers each.
No.
Like a Four Loco will send
No.
you to the moon.
Yeah.
Even Patrick, it would send to the moon.
And so some of the other patrons that were staying there called us saying, hey, there's this really loud group that's out there. And so we get there, and, you know, the designated most sober guy, who's probably the most drunk guy, is the one that chooses to approach us. And it went from very calm to escalated full-on bar fight in like 6 seconds. He comes up and he's like, hey, I got this under control. And our sergeant at the time, he didn't like people putting hands in his face.
Yeah.
Like he didn't like it. And the guy goes like this. So he grabs the dude's arm, and the dude goes like this to throw a punch at him. Fight's on. So we go to tackle that guy, and here comes the crowd. And it was just
oh man.
awesome.
Did you shoot a bunch of them or something?
No, nobody got shot.
They
It
weren't
was-
black, John.
Okay, they were white.
They were drinking Four Loco. They were obviously white.
Good point. That's a great point.
And a few Hispanic. And a few
I don't see a denial from Alpha. Alpha's like they were white. They were white suburban kids.
there was nobody that
And they
was
deserved
darker than a Mexican. There was definitely some hombres and some Okies,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
all on the same side. This was Four Locos versus the cops.
Gotta
And
stick
no,
together.
it was the worst. It was with some batons and things like that. But the
Some
funny part,
coccyx adjustments.
what I do remember, I mean, I visualize this again, man. Is as we're fighting these guys, you can hear all the cans being kicked around the parking lot, man. But yeah, a lot of people went to jail that night, and there was crying, you know, because they all went in the drunk tank together. Well, first there was arguing, they were blaming each other, and then there was hugging because you get to watch all this on the camera, and then there was hugging. And then there was pushing, so then we got to go there and hey, knock that shit off, you know. And
Yeah.
it was
This is in the cell. Like they're watching them like in the cell.
yeah,
or is
'cause
this
the
like-
drunk tanks where you can throw
Yeah.
a couple of them in.
Oh yeah. Nice.
I remember drinking Incredible Hulks, which were
What's that?
I think it's a black guy drink. I'm not positive, but it's Hennessy and Hypnotic.
yeah, black eye drink.
Yeah, Hennessy and Hypnotic.
Hennessy.
And have you ever had a
Hypnotic.
Hypnotic? It's like blue.
Yeah.
It tastes really good. I probably
was
would not
saying.
like it now, but when I was a teenager, I mean, of legal drinking age, I mean, I was like, this is amazing. And yeah, if you mix Hennessy and Hypnotic, it turns green and makes you think that you're the Incredible Hulk. So I remember having that when I was like 19 at
That's
a New Year's
interesting.
party. This guy was like,
It's like-
Incredible Hulks, man. That's what we're all drinking. All right. And it's like 25% alcohol, just tastes like fruit punch.
That's dangerous. Did you like
Yeah.
burst through your shirt and everything?
Is
I actually
Hypnotic-
didn't get in trouble that that
What?
night, but
Is Hypnotic what they put in the Adios motherfucker? Is that Hypnotic or is that something else?
I don't know. I've only ever had it as the liqueur, like buying at the glass bottle, Hypnotic.
Liqueur.
I've never. It was like people used to buy. Girls, right? Like girls at house parties, they would drink Hypnotic and Malibu.
Yep.
Was the girl drinks.
Oh, you guys are bougie. We were
We-
giving the girls Boone Farms and
Keystone
was it
Lights or
Behemoth?
something.
And a lot of cocaine.
Alpha, are you on the right mic, by the way? Just
Let me check.
I think he sounds normal.
That's all right.
you sound soft.
Yes.
Turning
We
the
used to-
volume up, maybe.
Yeah,
We used to
yeah,
go get.
that's on
Did you
the
guys
right
ever
one.
have? Did you guys ever have Everclear? It was like 100% alcohol.
No,
I've
no.
heard of it, but I've never.
Yeah,
had
like
it.
I don't know where we would get it, either in Mexico or Arizona or some backwards place. Oh, sorry, Arizonans. I'm just kidding. My
You can
sister.
get that like anywhere.
But yeah, and we would just get like a giant thing, and in a big punch bowl, and mix it and with
Yeah.
fruit juice and put fruit in there and everything, and the girls would drink it like it was Kool-Aid, and man, it was
Yeah.
it was potent, but you couldn't taste the alcohol, like if but it would kick
That's
your ass.
dangerous.
It was very dangerous. Like it was probably a date rapey kind of thing,
Did it
Why would
once
you
in
say
my
that?
life. One time in my life and never returned to it ever again.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, there's a drink up here. I don't know if it's common everywhere, but apple pie. It's like cinnamony, and he makes it with that Everclear.
Sounds damn good.
Oh my god.
Very
Yeah,
often.
I don't
Sounds
Why are we
very
talking about
dangerous,
drinking?
but good. I don't
I
know.
don't know. It's
You're
just-
such bad influences.
Those
Who's
were-
idea
What,
was that?
what was your first beer? Or did you guys go into that already?
Mine was Blue Moon. Tastes
Oh,
just as
okay.
bad going
John-
down.
John
as
was
it
saying
does
as you-
coming up.
Before you came on, he was saying we learned at Gar from his mom that the first time John got drunk, he called his mom because he felt guilty about doing it.
Yeah.
But we already shamed him for it.
Freshman?
My first
I was a good
time.
boy.
Sophomore?
Yeah.
What?
Freshman, sophomore?
Sophomore college.
College.
Yeah.
Fucking dork, man.
Oh,
I was actually pretty good until college, but I drank the first drink I finished one was super gay. It was a Mike's Hard Lemonade in my
That is-
cousin's
Oh, yeah,
basement.
that's really gay, dude.
Not for an intro drink. I'll give you a pass on that one.
I was like
dude.
14
No.
and I was like, man, beer tastes gross, man. And he's like, well, I got these lemonades. So I drank one of those. But the first time I got drunk, like I was training through high school, so I was good on the weekends. I didn't really drink. And then my cousin's high school graduation party, I remember like I didn't really drink. I didn't like beer and everything. I was kind of a little straight edge, but I went to a lot of parties with people who were drinking. So I was always the sober guy. That was like my thing. And then my cousin graduated high school and they did like beer Olympics. And I had really never played anything. But she was like, man, you're going to love Flip Cup. We should play this Flip Cup game. But if we play it, you have to actually drink the beer or else like they won't let you play. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Like it's just, an inch of beer in each cup, right? Well, if you're winning Flip Cup, that's a lot of inches of beer. So for probably 2 hours, it was like 6 p.m. we started drinking. I don't know. We ran the table for 2 hours. I completely blacked out. And then I came to and I was in a shower, like standing up in a shower. No clothes on, taking a shower, but had no memory of getting there. So I'm like, oh my God, it must be the next day. Like, what the fuck happened? And I go to like open up, like put a towel on. I go to open the door and my cousins had like a pool house. I was in the pool house and I figured it's the next day. I cracked the door open, huge raging parties going on. So like the party is still happening. And they're like, hey man, what's up? And I just was like, did I come in here or did you guys put me in the shower? Because that's super fucked up. And they're like, no, man, you just kind of passed out by the pool and then you stood up like a robot and walked into the bathroom and locked the door. It was 8 p.m. So I had drank, blacked out, put myself in the shower, and sobered up within about 2 hours. But granted, at that time, it probably took like 4 beers to make me black out.
Yeah, that's funny.
My
Yeah.
first beer was it was a Mickey's, the grenade bottle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mickey's
And-
Big Mouth. Yeah.
And we snuck it onto my buddy's dad's sailboat, and we went out to Catalina. So when he fell asleep, because we put the beers in a bag and then put the bag in the water, because we're like, the water's freezing, this will make it cold. And no, it didn't. So my first beer was a warmish Mickey's.
Nice.
How old were you?
Nice.
16.
Nice.
Yeah. Guys were late bloomers. I drank more in eighth
Yeah.
grade than I drank in the rest of the years of my life combined. we were
Jesus.
Yeah. And I went to Catholic school. We would like in the morning just like load up like a Coke bottle with rum and a little bit of Coke and just drink it
Those
all day.
Catholic
during
school
class.
kids were the craziest ones. Those are
We
true
were pretty
cliches.
out of control.
Hey, I went to
for
Catholic
sure.
school.
Yeah,
I know, and you didn't drink at all. I don't know. Some
Some of us are raised right, I guess. I don't know.
I guess you were just too busy going to confession and getting
I
communion.
didn't really do
and
that
stuff.
much, but I don't know. I don't know what my deal was. I just had never had any interest in like, and even to this day, I don't like getting drunk. I like having
Yeah.
a few drinks, getting a little buzz,
good
but
buzz,
I
yeah.
don't like the
There's a
feeling
good-
of being
yeah.
drunk.
yeah.
I'm with you.
Oh yeah,
So-
that's why the stories only become funny if nothing really bad happened. Like I've got a couple where I'm like, that could have been a really horrible story, but now it's funny. But I would never want to be in a state of mind where those could happen again.
I have so many stories on my friends, like being the sober guy, especially that first semester. It was bad. Like, just to give you a glimpse, I had this one buddy. His name was Taylor. He liked to party. Big, like Asian, which is like so weird. Like the biggest Asian I've ever met in my life. Tall, jacked.
They can't
But
hold their liquor.
he
by the
liked to
way. That's like a
party.
real thing.
And one time he did this challenge with a friend where they were trying to see who could drink the most of a fifth, like a bottle. I don't even remember. It was like a whiskey or something. They were just like chugging. And I went back to my dorm room for a little bit, came back like 45 minutes later. He's puking in his toilet and he like cleaned his face with it. He was like so drunk he didn't realize what he's doing.
Oh
it
my
was
God.
that. So
That's
yeah.
you don't want to be doing that.
No.
You know what else you don't want to do is have a party and be the drunkest guy at your party at your house
No,
because people
no.
will F with your house badly. Like my sister and I, we had parties every other weekend because my parents had that house out in Palm Springs. So they were gone every other weekend. And we started out with like 5-6 people. And then eventually we had like 150 people in our house. But as the years went on, but we kind of learned the routine. You always had to stay a little bit sober than everybody
Yeah.
else just to make sure we always had fun, but we had the cleaning routine down and everything. But like one of my buddies, his parents went away and we talked him into having a party, and he broke the cardinal rule and he just got absolutely hammered. And I remember everybody was like, "Where's Blake?" And so he had his room like down in the basement, and I went down there. And he's passed out on the bed, just face down, completely naked. And somehow there's like,
So I went in. I saw my opportunity.
So I lost.
I was like, oh shit. But yeah, I mean, like I didn't do this, but somehow somebody had like carefully positioned a cue stick because he had a pool table down in his room. And it was like up the old bunghole. And
no way.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
God, your
And
friends
then
are terrible.
yeah, I don't
That's
think it
right,
was
man.
actually in it, but it looked like it was. It was like right up against there. I didn't get close enough to really examine that, but his like where the hell is his underwear? Like why is he naked? And so I went into his bathroom in his room, and there was just puke and everything else you can imagine in there, and his underwear was like in the toilet. And I mean, they did so much to this poor guy's house. They stole like everything you
Yeah.
can imagine, and they peed down the chimney and like all that stuff. But
They peed
So
down
the
the
mud-
chimney? So they went
down
on
the
roof?
chimney, they got on the roof and they were pissing down the chimney. They stole his parents' like watches. Like they had a swank house, like really, really nice house in Pasadena. But so then and Monday at school, when we all showed up to school again, he was just like, oh man, I don't know what happened, but I got so busted. My parents came home, everything was missing, and he's like, and my toilet's like completely plugged up. And I was like, oh dude, like your underwear was in there. And he's like, no, I flushed it. There was like a bunch of puke and stuff. And I'm like, no, dude, your underwear was in there. So the next day he's like, oh shit, I went home from school on Monday and my parents had the Roto-Rooter guy there, and it said like on the receipt, cause of cloggage, men's undershorts. And he's like,
No way.
what happened to me? I'm like, yeah, dude. And then the worst part is somebody took pictures of him with his mom's camera while he had the cue stick up his ass. And then so his mom
shit.
developed her camera and
Oh,
found
no.
that humiliating. It's just, disaster. But anyways,
Oh,
That's you got
never had that
ruthless
happen.
people that you hang out.
ruthless, man, ruthless. Well, all little, Catholic school kids.
They're messed up. All that repressed guilt.
Right,
I stopped
literally.
going to house parties after high school because me and my friends had been in like a handful of fights, and then as you get older, like they get more serious.
Yeah.
So after that started happening, I was just like, all right, I can't go to a house party because I'm gonna get into fights. And unless it was like, so all we did was just at my cousin's house, people we knew would come over. But other than that, I was like, you know what? Once you start getting like 18, 19, 20, like going to somebody's house to drink, not a good move for young men to be doing.
no.
Yeah.
You should,
My only-
Somebody says something, and then all that needs to happen is one of your friends, whether he's right or wrong, has to be challenged in some way or threatened, and then it's just like, all right, this is what we're doing now. It's all fun and
all.
games when you're 16, but then when they get a little more serious when you're older.
we should change from not drinking stories. The chat is not happy
Yeah,
with us.
yeah. So
Well,
some,
here-
some
here
like
first-
it, some don't.
cocaine.
I'll take us back
experience.
to a Catholic story. So You know-
that'll cheer them up.
so you go through all the different, first communion, confirmation, all that. Well, that was like the last time I went to confession. Was when I was done doing all
It
that stuff.
shows.
So many, many, many years later, I don't know, probably like 15 years later is the next time I end up going to confession. And you go to confession because stuff's weighing on your chest, right? So my dad tells me, he goes, hey, there's this place in Redlands, it's like real old where the priests still kind of dress like monks and stuff like that, like a little bit more culture to it. So he's like, go over there, you'll appreciate it. So I go drive out to Redlands, I visit this place, tell them I want to do a confession. They're like, yeah, that's fine, we can make this happen. And so finally the priest comes in, and it's not like a confessional, you just go into his office and you start the process. And so I don't know if he was just really moved or what, but when I was done confessing, he was crying. And I was just like,
What?
was it that bad?
Mhm.
like,
That's pretty bad, man. The
Like, does
priest
this
is
mean-
crying.
does it mean like the Hail Marys aren't going to save me? Like, what's the crying mean here, Chief? Like, someone's need to clue me in on this.
Got a priest
But-
to quit or something?
Well, I don't know. I never
Can't
went
do this anymore.
I never went back. So
See, in
Uh,
Boston, they just molest you and send you on your way.
God damn! I knew you were gonna say something.
Somebody had to.
Just saying. I mean,
Somebody
a lot
had
of them did,
to.
though.
Oh,
There's a
fucking
lot of
beauty.
them. I mean, can't just let them off the hook. My whole family's Catholic, but my dad's Protestant though, so I didn't get
He's-
molested.
So he wasn't molested. You guys are terrible.
Protestants don't molest.
I'm just saying that's a Catholic thing.
I was
Hey,
an-
I'm just saying when your priest can't get married,
I
they're
was,
going to attract a
That's
certain
true.
kind of person.
was
And
in-
ministers, Protestants, this is the chat's going to love this commentary, but
So glad
I
you showed
always,
up tonight, Burning Bright.
all my cousins are like, you're the only Protestant family, and I'm like, yep. And our ministers can get married to women, so
No
I'm okay with
repression
that.
there. Yeah, that's probably a good thing.
I was a altar boy for 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
We had to wear the red gown with the little white thing, and
Did you get to ring the bells?
I did.
Yeah, I got to
did.
do that too. That was pretty cool. I would like ring it as loud as I possibly could. The priest would get very upset with that, but it was fun.
Alpha, you said you had some sort of like story or something for tonight's
Oh, a
show.
surprise! Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me go grab this, and I'll show you guys. I'll be back in just a second.
Okay, what do you
It's
think
gonna
of
be like
it?
a SWAT
He has
team.
to, he has to
I know.
go.
It's got to have guns involved. I'm certain.
Yeah, what kind of entrapment is this going to be?
He's clearly a Fed.
He has to get up and go get something. A surprise. I have no idea.
Hey,
Look
look
at
at that.
Oh, my kids are convinced
Tiger.
I'm getting a dog. Like, I showed them a picture of a dog on my phone, that our Kimberly,
Uh-oh.
our accountant, has. It's this super cute dog. I showed it to them, and they're like convinced we're getting a dog now.
Now
And
you have to
I don't
get
know how
a
to
dog.
get them out of it because
Well, you have to get a dog is what
I don't have
happens.
the time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able
Well-
to give the dog the life it deserves at this moment in time right now.
I always use that excuse too. But I don't know. Kids can be very persuasive.
Yeah. And they're like telling their friends. That's the hardest part. It's like we were at this high school football game tonight and he was telling his buddy, like, yeah, so Dad, can you show so and so the dog
we're
that we're gonna
getting.
be getting?
Yeah.
Johnny,
Not
no,
only
I'm
are
not
you
getting
getting a dog, but you're getting that dog. Kimberly, turn him over.
That's bad, man.
I know. I made a mistake somewhere along the line, and now probably
I got my first dog when I was 4.
yeah. I mean, they have a dog with their mother. They have 2 dogs with their mother and 2 cats. They don't need another animal.
The German Shepherd. My dad was driving with my dad in his van, and there was a sign in a pretty shitty area that said "free puppies," and we
And you
pulled
just went and
in.
got the free puppy.
Yeah, we pulled it. He might have seen this. Like, this is what I remember, but he might have already known that the puppies were there or something. But the backyard, yeah, they were German Shepherds. They were like, these days you could sell each one of them for $3,000, but this was just this guy was like, my German Shepherd got knocked up, and
Here you
there's
go.
these puppies. He had them in a pen out back.
It was a good
So-
dog.
Oh yeah, she was with me she lived to be 14. Working line Shepherd, looks just like mine, just a female version of the one I have now. That's why I ended up getting one like that. He's way more of a pain in the ass than she was, which I think is either my training or him being a boy,
Probably the boy
or
thing.
maybe some yeah. But yeah, she pretty much saved my life when I was like 7. So if I didn't have her,
Oh gosh.
Alpha Nikolai.
What the
Ah.
hell?
is this?
Why do you have that
Are you
readily
trying
available?
to? Are you trying to take my spot as the premier Russian propagandist of Badlands Media?
How's it going, comrades?
Elf actually called me today and he said that too. What's up, comrade? Or something. I was like, what?
Dude, that's awesome.
Is that
My
like
head-
an authentic?
My head's really hot.
Did you get that from
Classic
Lauren
hot
Chen or Tim
hat.
Pool or something?
I had to leave with a souvenir.
Lauren's social media feed's a little quiet.
Actually, I Amazon this like the day it all went down, and I was just like, I gotta find one that can be here by Friday night.
Didn't it just go
Nice.
down Wednesday? So
No,
2
it was
days?
stupid expensive. I'm gonna send it back, but I wanted to make sure I had a prop for the show.
One
Dude,
It's
that's
so
awesome.
retarded how much it costs.
That's funny. Yeah.
You have to be
The
an
Lauren Chen
oligarch
thing.
to afford it.
Definitely.
Lauren Chen's been fired from everywhere. I saw that Tyler Hansen guy. He posted something that he lost his YouTube now. He's like, "Oh, I've been
Wow.
kicked off of YouTube," and I was like, "Welcome to the club. Like, why is this an issue now that it's happened to you and not when it's happening to
We just did
everybody
it
else for
because
the
of
past
our
3
opinions,
years?"
not for taking money.
God, you fucking faggot! Oh, drives me nuts.
I never even heard about that guy until I
Me
saw
neither.
him on that website.
Me neither. But
He was like
On
their
the
token
take.
redhead guy.
If you're watching Lauren Chen,
You owe him.
just saying.
Yeah, she's been quiet, and she was talking a bunch of shit earlier that day. I was looking at her feed. She was just like
Was
talking
she?
shit about random stuff, going back and forth with people. And then you look at her replies right now, and it's like, is it true? Did you do that? Nothing.
is it
Crickets.
true?
This is
Well,
also not the right size for me, just so you guys know.
Well,
Alpha's gonna be driving a Lambo next week. It's gonna be great.
I think the funny thing about all of that stuff, we talked about it a little bit on Wednesday, but is that the defense by the people accused is not a great defense, right? It's like most people understand, including in the indictment, that they did not know this was happening. Like they're all like, we didn't know. Like everybody knows you didn't know. Not Lauren Shen. I'm talking about the other people, but they think that that's making them look better. They're like, no. You see, we took $500,000, but we had no idea where it was coming from.
So
Yeah, I
makes-
honestly,
Like that's the good angle. Like, guys, we take money from literally fucking anyone who
Any-
sends it to us.
Yeah.
it's disgusting.
Like, we didn't know it was part of an op.
Like that amount of money, I just can't. $100,000 for one stream a week for Tim fucking Pool.
And it didn't set off any alarms, right? Like that's the kind of thing you see this in like detective movies where they're like, I didn't know where it was coming from. They're like, you didn't think it was a little weird that a guy was giving you $10,000 a week to use your parking spot? Like you didn't think that was weird behind a laundromat? Like that's kind of what it is. Oh yeah, one video a week. And the funny thing is these people know how valuable, they know exactly, according to the metrics, how much money YouTube videos make, right? So they make a lot of money, but to your point, John, they know that they're not making $100,000 on one video a week.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like their all their money that was coming in, like 95% of their receivables were spent on payroll. But that means like the other 5% or whatever it was is what they actually made from YouTube ads, which was like nothing. Like they were getting so overpaid. We have another. What the hell is this? Is this like? Did I miss something? Like, was this
Stress update.
1914 Patrick Gunnels.
What's going on, dude?
I'm supposed to be a gangster, but I ended up looking like an Irish pimp.
You look like an Amish. You look
You're going to
Amish.
sell me a
bro.
news.
No,
You can sell me a
Amish,
newspaper
man.
if you want.
I had
That's
a
an
different
Amish hat.
fedora. Yeah, Amish pimp. Anyway, yeah, that was a
Have you
dance
ever
party I was at.
seen?
Supposed
You
to
Ever
bought-
be
seen the
Godfather.
Newsies?
Ye-bot.
It's perfect. It fits.
Sorry, I mean everybody was talking over each other. I didn't hear like anybody of what they said.
So this is my new setup tonight, and I'm in my new house. But at the same time, I literally just hooked everything up just to be on the Liberty Den. I was planning on taking my time tomorrow, so this is a very ad hoc setup. But I do have a brand new Shaquille O'Neal gaming chair, and it
Nice,
is magnificent.
Wait.
dude. I sent you a link to a Game of Thrones spider chair, or whatever this is, secret lab chair, and you didn't do it.
Sorry, bro. I'll get it the
Oh,
next
you went
time.
with Shaq, huh?
It's Game of Thrones.
Kiska.
I also got a Buick LaCrosse one time because of Shaquille O'Neal. I'm a big fan of that guy
Why?
because he's huge and he dunks really hard.
He is huge.
He's
Like
like
size
7'2".
23
Yeah. And he's like 400 pounds or some shit. And he I watched him because my favorite basketball player of all time is Hakeem Olajuwon. And I watched him absolutely. He's playing the Russian national anthem.
I was like, who's doing that? Not me.
On the
I
background.
just want Alpha to feel welcome.
Alpha. You don't look Russian, my friend.
No, you really don't.
He kind of looks Mongolian, to be honest.
They don't
Maybe,
deport.
yeah.
I mean, that's a part of Russia, isn't it?
They don't
Sorta.
deport. They don't deport over there, Alpha. They just
Yeah,
just
the funny
bag you
thing-
up right there. They just
I only
bag you
know
up on the
2
spot.
words. Kiska and Ye-bot.
Nostrovia.
You want to know something
know that.
ironic? You want to know who lives in the Caucasus Mountains?
The what
Khabib
mountains?
What?
Nurmagomedov.
The Caucasus Mountains. You want to know who lives there?
Caucasians.
That's where she lives.
Actually, no, brown people. And that's what I find to be ironic about the whole thing. The entire bullshit descent of man crap that was all the rage during the eugenics period that led up to the craziness of World War II also included the original supposition that all of the whites came from that region we now call the Caucasus. Therefore, we are Caucasians. But there's about as much evidence to support that claim as there is to support that I am the Sultan of Brunei.
So do we have is everybody supposed to be wearing themed outfits? I mean, Patrick, you look like you're out of Witness or some other.
Or Kingpin.
Yeah,
Missed the memo, Zach.
Kingpin, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, Patrick, like the most dominant fighters in the last 10 years or so are Dagestanis, coming out of that region.
Weird
And
that you could
I
turn
wouldn't
this into
call
a
them.
fighting discussion.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of their appearance, like if you just see Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, like you're not going to go white dude, right? When you look at that guy, you're not necessarily going to say Asian, but you're going to say Dagestani. Like that is a different looking kind of person kind of Mongolian, kind of Russian, kind of Middle Eastern, and that's supposedly where all the whiteys came from.
Fucking Mongolians, man. They suck.
They had a big week. The Mongolians never get in the news, but Vladimir Putin visited Mongolia, and the International Criminal Court, which is also fake, told them to arrest him, and they said no. And then when asked why Mongolia did not arrest Vladimir Putin, instead of saying like we're Mongolia, ... they were like, that doesn't make any sense to arrest Vladimir Putin. So the ICC was very upset that Mongolia did not arrest Vladimir Putin last week.
They're just like asking people, like, will you please arrest him for us?
Well, John, the International Criminal Court is a very serious, real, and not at all make-believe criminal court. And so when they issue an arrest warrant for the leader of one of the most powerful nations in the fucking world, they expect tiny backwater nations to arrest the leaders of those nations as soon as they land. And they were shocked that Mongolia did not do that.
Like, can they actually punish people? Like, what is the punishment?
No, so this is part of a lot of the stuff I've written about, even going back to the Righteous Russia stuff with my fellow comrade here.
Yeah, I didn't read that, so.
I think a big red pill that a lot of people worldwide, including lefties who are like really upset right now, are finding out is that the European Union, NATO, and the International Criminal Court have literally zero power projection when they do not have a regime puppet in the United States White House who wields the military-industrial complex. So all of the previous leaders like Assad, Saddam Hussein, that ran afoul of the ICC, they would simply find a reason for Americans to go kill those people. And they don't have that right now. So they're just asking Mongolians to arrest Russian presidents, and it's not working.
Yeah,
Jack
Alfie, you
Smith
look
used
kind
to
of
be
like
at the ICC.
who?
Oh, yeah?
Jack Smith.
Jack Smith.
That's right.
He's still a very real prosecutor even to this day.
That's right.
Zach.
I don't think there's any circulation going to my head right now.
Ooh, is this a new feature?
Yeah, you can like mess with the camera stuff.
The circles are pretty cool.
I hate that.
I wish we
We
could
look
make
like
it
the,
bigger.
we look like the
though.
freaking Brady Bunch right now.
Ooh, that's not bad.
That is pretty cool.
That's not bad. Make a square.
Alpha Nikolai, why do you have the Russian theme going on? Catch me up.
Did you miss everything that happened this week?
Yeah. Are you talking about Lauren Chen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tim Pool
He's
and
looking for a payday.
Dave Rubin.
No,
Benny
but Patrick, in
Johnson.
Patrick's defense, the Alpha connection is that Alpha, on Wednesday night, John found an Alpha clip on Tim Pool, and it was on the Tenet Media YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That is magnificent.
So,
And also extremely ironic considering the fact that Tim Pool, Dave Rubin are almost certainly in the pay of the Khazarian mafia, who are definitely Russia's worst enemy.
Well, and that's what I was saying. I was like, I could care less about them getting money from Russia, whether they knew it or not. I'm much more concerned about the big money they're getting, which is much more than what they got from Russia. For staying on these big tech platforms.
if
Like,
I
that's
believed
what
they
pisses me off.
knew, if I believed they knew they were receiving money from the Russian government to propagandize Russia, I would trust them more.
Well, and here's the thing: if they knew it was coming from Russia, they would have just asked for more. They still would have taken the money and still done it.
Yeah, 10 million is a pittance compared to the rest of the money they're bringing in.
It's insane.
So,
Insane.
Tenet Media has since been taken down from YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. So you must have gotten in pretty early.
Yeah.
Alpha?
Yeah.
Alpha.
Guys, did anything
Genghis?
bad happen to Lauren Chen?
I
She got taken down too.
She got taken down. That's pretty messed up, man.
It is. It is, especially since like nothing has been proven. It's only been claims made in this DOJ press release. Lauren Chen, I mean, she and Tenet, they haven't been charged with any crimes, right? I mean, like, yeah, the crimes were allegedly committed by a couple of people who work for RT and used Tenet and I guess Lauren as a vector.
Well, I don't know, but I was under the impression that the reference to the founders in the indictment is referring to the founders of Tenet who
Lauren
knew
Chen and her
what
husband.
was going on.
Yeah,
Yes,
Lauren
I
Chen and her
didn't-
husband.
I don't want to say that, but yeah, I mean, I think that the idea is that the influencers didn't know about this, but that that she knew exactly what was going on, where the money was coming from. And I think the key would be she intentionally hid that information allegedly from the talent.
Hasn't
Well, yeah,
she been
she-
acting like a
she
friggin'
definitely knew.
simp? Hasn't she been acting like a friggin' freaky to simp anyway?
Yes.
She was borderline, yeah.
Yeah,
I went
but
back to
she's
some of her
gone
tweets.
full. She's gone recently. She's gone full.
Lila
There's
Rose.
no she was on Twitter recently trying to get people to win arguments with her. Like, she was basically saying, tell me why I should vote for Donald Trump if he did this, and this wrong, right? So classic, like, full scale, late stage desimpism.
Yeah. And I know she's been real tight with what's his name? The other Fed from Cozy TV, Nick.
Alpha? Alpha's
no.
probably been on his podcast. So
I can't remember his name. He's allegedly, there's a whole bunch of alleged things about him, but Nick, he was hanging out with Kanye and they went to dinner
Nick
at
Fuentes?
Nick Fuentes. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that little gremlin is a Fed.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Glow. Glowy.
Those damn Mexicans.
Oh, he's super white and racist.
Dude, have you seen Nick Fuentes' father? He looks like Eugene Levy.
Mrs.
No.
Bright is a... Patrick, are you a fan of Schitt's Creek? Because Mrs. Bright
I
is on like
love
her,
that show.
She's on like her fifth watch
I just
through of it.
realized what Comrade Jatriot's shirt is. It's God ironing flat earth.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I wore it for Patrick.
Thank you. I'm Amish, and I do not believe in your heliocentric lies.
Patrick, have you seen Peaky Blinders?
I
Oh,
tried
yes.
to watch it, but I couldn't understand their freaky, deaky, whatever the fuck accents those were.
That is
You
a
gotta
hard
use
show to
the
get
you,
into.
you gotta
I
use
really
the
love Peaky.
subtitles. You put the
It's
I
my
like-
native
subtitles.
language. I should be able to understand it without subtitles.
I think that's one of the best shows
It's a
there's been.
great show.
I know. I've tried to watch
100%,
it several
yeah.
times because of all
Yeah.
the people friggin' simping for it. Eventually, I'll get around to it.
I have a
Sometimes
confession
you
to
just-
make about subtitles, like, because I know people I know love them and can only watch shows with them, and it, like, I'm not a fan. Like, I'm watching
You
a
mean
movie to
even
watch
like
a movie.
English shows?
I'm not watching a movie to read. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
it
know
takes
feel-
exactly why you would have a problem with subtitles.
And that
You-
just
you
it
get
rules me out. of,
focused
like,
on the written word in very detailed ways. Like
Yeah.
you crawl over it, and you just naturally look for details, and that would totally ruin your movie watching.
Yeah, it does. Because, like, I find where the subtitles are off from what they
Yeah,
actually
me
say.
too.
I'm like, that's an error. That's an error. That's an error, and that's all I can focus on.
I also I think about that myself too. I mean, like, you know, what deaf people might be losing when they read like a simplified subtitle or something that is presented that's not what the character is saying, and you also miss like nuance in the shots. I think it does you a disservice to watch it with the subtitles, and I don't think it's good for your brain. I think that having to decipher the various dialects and accents that people are using while they're playing characters, I think that it enriches the scene. I like it, and I love Peaky Blinders. I mean, that Birmingham accent, I think it's great.
You mean you
The only
don't
time
think, like,
subtitles are good is when you're arguing with someone like it's not what they said. It's what they said. It's not what they said. And then you rewind it, put the subtitles, and you're like, "Fucking told you."
Yeah,
Except for
yeah.
the
Or
fact that
maybe
the subtitles can be
when the
wrong.
songs are wrong. Yeah,
if it's a
those
bad
are wrong.
sound mix too, though, you know, maybe like the Christopher Nolan movies. Like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
just like it's like way too loud. Like you're not supposed to hear what they're saying, and you have to watch it with the subtitles.
Man, I used to defend him so much, and then he, like Inception, you could understand most of the dialogue, but he got a little blammy. But then after that, he was like 60% of the movie is inaudible, and
What's-
that's intentional.
the only thing that I like subtitles for is when they describe sounds.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like
yeah.
sometimes those are hilarious. Like there's
Yeah.
there's a really good meme of one from the Cannibal series. It's like loudly implied cannibalism or something. There's so many funny ones like that.
Ironically, the Christopher Nolan film that was totally
Tenet.
bashed for its sound mixing was Tenet.
Yeah.
I've never seen. It's the only Christopher Nolan movie I haven't seen.
It's I think it's good, but this is admitting that this is both a flaw and a positive. I would say most Christopher Nolan movies, they're good the first time through, and then they're better subsequent times through. Tenet, I would not say is good the first time through. I would say it's really good once you know where it's going.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a flaw that,
It's kind of like The Big Lebowski.
yeah.
Guys,
No, I liked The Big Lebowski the first time.
I did not freaking get it when I saw The Big Lebowski the first time. I was expecting something to resolve, something to happen, and then it just didn't. And I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? And then for some reason or another, I just watched it again, and then I kind of chuckled, and then I think I might have watched it a third time. I was like, okay, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. You know, that's fucking interesting, dude. That's fucking interesting. The way that the amount of nuance in that movie is unbelievable.
That's like my favorite. I'm constantly showing people movies that like don't really have like a cohesive arc. It's just a series of scenes, and people are like, what the fuck did you just make me watch?
guys, I'm gonna duck out. Patrick, you're in charge of the stream. Rest
Wow.
of the night.
Jeez.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm in
John,
charge.
great seeing you, buddy.
Hey, I'm here most Fridays.
John, can
Where
you-
the hell have you been?
Okay.
Change it from this weird like circle porthole
Sure.
setting, because I don't know how to change that.
Yep. Okay. Well, is this better?
I'm not a scientist, damn it.
All right, there we go. I'll figure out the rest. Oh wow, you
Maybe,
got all-
maybe I should leave the stream in the hands of Zach instead. I don't know how to run any of this.
I have never seen The Big Lebowski,
What?
which is,
Bullshit,
I know.
you lying Mick.
I've never seen it. So I'll have to pick it. You know, it is funny actually when people
Vagina.
will be shocked on Story Hour where they're like, "You haven't seen this infamous movie?" It's like, nope,
Wow.
seen a lot. Of it.
Motherfucker. Hey, look, dude, you're quite the movie guy, you
Yeah.
know? And I don't think you can really claim that title unless you've seen and know well The Big
Yeah.
Lebowski.
Yeah, I'll have to.
You're gonna
watch
have
it.
to do it for Story Hour now.
Yeah,
Dude, listen, I'm an expert at that movie. I've seen it almost as many times as I've seen Back to the Future. And if I ever told you how many times I've seen Back to the Future, you probably would want me on a watch list. But I want to be on your Big Lebowski show.
All
I
right.
should be
We
a
should do
guest
that.
for that one.
So how was
Uh,
that for you, Patrick, when Jeff Bridges showed up on the White Dudes for Harris call in his
Oh,
Big
no.
Lebowski character? I mean, how fucking surreal was that?
Oh God, they are just determined to ruin everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hollywood created all of our stories, and now they're going to defecate on them. Did you notice that right after Donald Trump came down the escalator was right when the order came out?
Yep.
Hey guys, burn it all down. Burn down every character, burn down every beloved franchise. Just do it all. Make sure
Yep.
that we can just burn Trump in the process.
And Patrick, that's why I'm only half joking when I roast people like Brad. Brad has seen the light, and CanCon about defending Disney era Star Wars. Like, I know what they're doing. Like, they're addicts. They're like, oh, I want to like this thing that is very important to me. So I'm going to look for good things.
Who the fuck
in-
defended Disney era Star Wars?
CanCon and Brad. But mostly
Hold
CanCon.
on. I did like a whole. Okay, I don't know. You could like legitimately say that Brad has defended Disney era Star Wars.
He's
I mean,
admitted
like,
it. I said he's seen the light.
yeah,
He-
well,
he-
okay, all right.
He's seen the light, but no, he's not like defending the Last Jedi stuff. But my point, to Patrick's point, I think that like they'll sometimes be like, why do you care so much or whatever about these things being bad? What Patrick is hitting on is this is very intentional demoralization.
Yes.
That is what the point of Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars is, literally to demoralize you. And in case you haven't seen the Yuri Bezmenov interview or read about Russian subversion, Soviet subversion in the 20th century, not current Russian baseness, one of the ways in which they demoralize is to get men of a nation to accept the new paradigm. And when you are defending and looking for good things in what they have told you is intended to destroy everything that you love about these original characters, like, you're participating in the demoralization of your society. And Kathleen Kennedy and Star Wars and all that, they're just the most infamous example.
Yeah.
They literally came out when they purchased Star Wars and put t-shirts on at the premiere that said the Force is female.
Yes.
Their point was to demoralize and invert all of the male characters in Star Wars. They made Han Solo a broken down, deadbeat dad who abandoned his kids. They made Luke Skywalker a doomer. Luke Skywalker is the embodiment in Western cinema of hope. The concept of hope is Luke Skywalker. His movie is called A New Hope.
Yes.
And they turned him into a doomer. They didn't do it because they thought they were being clever. Like, I've seen all the YouTube guys who think they're way smarter than they are. What they will never get over the hump on, they think this is people trying to make good content. And the only one is Razorfist, who understands that what they are doing is intentionally subverting and inverting all archetypes in the West in order to demoralize people.
Look what they fucking did to Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Season 1 and 2 of Star Trek Picard were the most. I only got through a couple episodes, and then I just relied on Mr. Plinkett from Red Letter Media to tell me how horrible it was.
I heard season 3 got better, but I won't
I watched
even.
season 3. It was okay. Season 3 was not super good, but at least it was trying to be good.
Yeah.
And so that was all I needed. I just wanted them to try. In seasons 1 and 2 of Picard, they were vandalizing the IP. You know where else I noticed that there was just obvious vandalism taking place? Seasons 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones. Yeah. With season 8 being just, oh, they didn't notice the vandalism well enough for season 7. We're going to dial it up to 11. And, you know, they call Benioff and Weiss, they call them Dumb and Dumber. They're not Dumb and Dumber. They were instructed
they
to
knew,
do that.
Yeah, they knew what they're doing. That's the key. It's intentional. Right now, my favorite franchise, in case you haven't been able to tell, is not actually Star Wars. It's Lord of the Rings. And the Rings of Power show on Amazon, you wouldn't know this by looking at it because it looks like trash. Like, it literally visually looks like trash. It's the most expensive television production in world history.
Billion.
So they spent $500 million for the right to make it. They are spending $500 million per season, which is like over $50 million an episode. They turned Galadriel, who's a strong female character in the novels, as a sorceress who doesn't need to fight because that's her whole thing, into a girl boss with a sword who orders all the stupid men around. And it's supposed to be telling you the origin story leading up to Lord of the Rings, the original story. And it just recasts everything as white men are the problem. Mm-hmm. The orcs are misunderstood. Yep. There's an orc family in the recent episode. And if only everybody listened to the woman, this all would have been avoided. And they literally, you would think this is fan fiction, they shipped Galadriel and Sauron as a romantic love interest. So for anybody who doesn't know, that's like shipping the Archangel Michael and Lucifer. That's what they're doing in the lore.
Explain shipping for the audience, because not everybody's going to know what shippers are.
So shipping is this idea that brain-rotted Zoomers, the sort of tranny crowd, what they do is they'll take a story. I think a most infamous example of this in recent years is actually Disney Star Wars, where they will watch a movie and they will like two characters in it, and they will want those two characters to be sexually involved with each other. And they will ship them. And they'll literally make message boards about it, websites about it, like comment on it, YouTube channels, everything. They're like cultists. The most infamous example of this is Daisy Ridley in the new Star Wars movies, and who's Kylo Ren? Adam Driver. Who's actually pretty based, by the way.
Yes.
But Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, they wanted them to have a romantic relationship after they saw The Force Awakens. It was not in the plans for that to be a thing, but Kathleen Kennedy saw the Tumblr community had shipped them online, so they wrote in a romantic through line into the movies to please these people. and they're just Tumblr, like Instagram weirdos that want these people to get together. It kind of came out of the Twilight stuff a long time ago, where it was just, you know, people who like that franchise are really weird and really uncomfortable with it. And now they've done it with Lord of the Rings, where they have taken the female embodiment of purity and light, the Lady of Light, and they have her romantically and sexually attracted to the Lord of Darkness because they think that's what modern, or they're subverting modern audiences.
So, speaking of based Adam Driver, has anybody seen Megalopolis?
No, is it out?
I mean, I thought that it had come out. If it hasn't, then, you know, that's fine.
I don't know. I thought it was only like, maybe only critics and stuff could see it so far.
Okay. I thought perhaps it was in limited release. I could be wrong, but I'm looking forward to seeing that. And Patrick, what is up with the Amish look tonight?
Well, I was at a dance party at Fred Astaire here in Houston, and the theme was gangster, and it came out looking Amish.
Yeah, you look plain.
I mean, the Amish were gangster too, I guess.
Yeah, there's a little gangster going on there, but the suspenders, you know, the gangsters wore suspenders.
Sure.
So I tried, but guys, I'm getting a lot better. On February 1st, I'm going to be treating the entire Badlands community to me doing a solo stage performance of the tango.
That's
Wow.
Why
Tango
solo?
alone? Yeah.
Not solo. I will be the only amateur on stage. I will have a dance partner who is not an amateur. So
okay.
she will
Very
make me
cool.
look good. But I've gotten good enough to be able to do that.
All right, so you're just like 1 degree of separation away from Dancing with the Stars here, maybe.
Dude, if I could freaking get famous enough, I would so go on that show. I would go on that show in a heartbeat. You just imagine all the freaking free dance lessons you get out of that.
Oh my God! Think about the audience revolt, though. Patrick sold out. He
Sorry,
sold
guys.
his soul to Hollywood.
Sorry, guys. They're letting me take all these dance lessons from these professionals for free. Ta-ta.
Oh God! Oh, that's great.
Oh man.
And I gotta say, Alpha, your commitment to this look tonight and the constant repeat of the Russian national anthem in the background, it's a little surreal, but I really respect it.
I'm just trying not to pass out. This is really tight on my head, you guys.
I used to own one of those back in the day. I've actually got a collection of Soviet military memorabilia. I've got a whole bunch of Cold War stuff, and then I've got a bunch of World War II stuff, which you're not supposed to own or display, but I do both.
Or talk about on
Yeah.
podcasts
Yeah,
that thousands of people are watching right now.
My grandfather fought in World War II, so I have like a bunch of his medals, and I love collecting stuff like that.
Have you guys heard of the guy? I think it was in World War II. He's the last, or no, I'm confusing 2 veterans, but this one I'm thinking of. He fought with a claymore longsword or a broadsword.
In World War II,
I believe it was in World War II. Chat might know who I'm talking about.
Let's fact check this.
Or he carried it into battle. Maybe he didn't fight with it. Somebody in chat will know what I'm talking about. There was a guy in a
must have chopped a couple in
Was he
there.
a German? Was he a Russian? Do you know who?
No, it would
what-
think.
what
Let me
shot?
look. So you guys can talk about something. I'm going to look him up. I swear I didn't make this up just because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan.
All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I mean, can you imagine like some berserker charging across the field?
Google AI immediately corroborated my claim. Here we go. I said, man
you
who
just-
fought with. Want
Wouldn't
to
you
share
just
my
shoot
screen
the
here?
guy with your
Yeah,
freaking
yeah.
machine gun? Like, why? How is this guy even
Fighting
alive?
Jack Churchill.
Fighting
Where's-
Jack Churchill.
he's a
John
Brit.
Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill was a British Army officer nicknamed Fighting Jack Churchill and Mad Jack. He fought in the Second World War with a longbow, a basket-hilted Scottish broadsword, and a set of bagpipes.
Those
Oh,
bagpipes probably helped him in battle quite a bit. I'm sure.
Did he
People are
kill
just
anybody, though?
He was
Very,
no.
I'm very handy when you're in a gunfight. Have those
Right?
bagpipes.
He said on one occasion to a general who had commented on his weaponry, Churchill is said to have replied, I want to believe this is all real. Okay, Patrick, this is real. Do not ruin it for me.
Okay.
Quote, any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed. I don't know if it's him, but there is a man in World War II who is the last guy with a confirmed kill in war by longbow.
Wow.
And it could actually be what the movie. Have any of you seen the new? What's it? Ungentlemanly Warfare. What's that?
I want to see that so bad. Is it good?
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Like, it's not. Don't go in expecting Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
They don't take it that seriously, but it's a fun action movie. A lot of testosterone, like sexy women. It's
Is it worth buying, or should I wait for it to stream free?
I'd stream it.
Okay, all right. Well,
But there's a guy in that's apparently based on a real Swedish soldier who was hunting Germans with a longbow in World War II because he was a hunter.
I'm just kind of over the hunting Germans meme, like
Yeah.
that, like every single one. But you know,
played out.
I'm all about the death and destruction, and I like war movies.
I want to see a movie about like hunting Germans with a bagpipe,
Yeah.
mowing them down with your bagpipe.
Well, maybe
is-
you can write a script, BB. That
Yeah,
could be the first Badlands Productions film, fighting
Man,
Jack
one of-
Churchill.
One of my books was written essentially as a screenplay. I think it could work. I got to get the rights back. I got to buy those rights.
We should set up a Give Send Go. We should do a Badlands marathon, 24 hours to get BB his rights back, and see if we can raise the money. And then
So I've got
we'll own it, not just you. We'll own it.
right.
I will
And then I'll be a
wrestle-
producer, baby.
I will wrestle a bear with this hat on.
Yes.
Have you ever seen, Alpha, the videos of Khabib Nurmagomedov as a child wrestling bear cubs?
No, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, his father would have him wrestle bear cubs.
Pull it up.
Like,
As a kid.
yeah, as a kid.
We got to see
I
this.
feel kind of bad for the bears, but they didn't seem like they were hurt.
Yeah. I mean, if they were living
versus-
outside, then it was probably cool. But if they were chained to a central location on the ground with a 10-foot radius, that's a little too much. I did just hear about a circus performer that was mauled by a bear in the midst of the circus. People screaming and obviously children terrified.
They'll do that.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
Okay, let's watch. Here we go.
So.
Oh,
we've
yeah.
got-
That's the real deal.
This is Khabib Nurmagomedov, a Dagestani, I was mentioning earlier. He retired at like 32 years old at 26-0. He's the guy who ended Conor McGregor's title reign. Before Conor McGregor was a meme and just ridiculous, he was actually worldly talent in fighting, and this is the Russian who ended his run.
when
So
he was
it
a
looks like
kid.
he's on a leash there,
Yeah.
but he's not hurting them. I mean, they're just messing around. You know, a couple kids.
This is like normal behavior for a bear cub. So
Yeah,
I
bears
mean,
wrestle.
how
See?
how cool to have
like
a
a
bear
laughing.
cub as a pet.
Yeah. So bears actually have the best center of gravity of any animal, so they actually are extremely good at wrestling. And
Hey,
He's like, I'm not done. Get back here.
Hey, Burning Bright, you notice the whole thing with that historian who went on Tucker Carlson, and then the entire Con Inc. media apparatus went apeshit, calling him a Nazi for saying that he thinks that Winston Churchill might have been the bad guy?
I did see that. Ghost wrote a brief take about it a few days ago. Yeah, I don't know much about that guy, but his comments seemed rather innocuous to me, and that seemed like a Con Inc. Marching orders type of thing.
Yeah, they all did it all at the same time. Sebastian Gorka, that friggin' fraud, jumps up and instantly calls the dude a Nazi. Seth Dillon, Mr. Funny Man of the Babylon Bee, saying all this stuff that the dude clearly didn't say. What is going on? Because seriously, we have Tucker out here doing all this stuff that's kind of off the Con Inc. reservation.
Yeah, it is. I trust Tucker much more now than I did a couple of years ago. It's not just because he left Fox, but it's kind of a lot of what you're talking about there. I mean, and for the conning people, I had put something out about this earlier, but I like entertaining more off the wall conspiracy theories that I don't necessarily, I'll never be able to prove or map. And one of them, I often say about 2016, what if Russia collusion is real and a good thing? And when I look at this Tenet situation, sometimes I wonder, now, if you were running counter psyops and you were trying to expose the most subversive and therefore effective enemies in the American media, you would do so by trying to destroy their reputation. And one way that you might destroy that reputation would be to launder millions of dollars to them by a foreign government and have them scoop it up like the little whores that they are. So while a lot of people are looking at this whole thing as like a deep state trap, I mean, are we upset that some of these figures have been exposed as money-grubbing whores?
Not particularly.
I'm not upset about it.
The only thing I'm upset about is the lack of reciprocity for Chinese money coming into the American media system.
And I think it's good that that's started that argument. I think that's a conversation that needs to be had.
I just feel kind of cool knowing that I was on $100,000 episode.
Did you get it? Yeah, you didn't get a cut of that, huh?
So, BB, you're getting fact checked here by NoMan1904, and I just thought maybe you might want to respond. He says Wolverines have a superior center of gravity. Not bears.
All right. Well, he's probably right. Wolverines are pretty dastardly.
Nobody really wrestles them though.
Yeah, nobody wrestles them. Exactly.
Wolverines will kill you. Yeah, they'll immediately kill you. They're not going to give you the grace that a bear would.
You throw a toddler in there with a Wolverine, and that's not going to. You're not going to get a cute video.
As your toddler is shredded to pieces, you're like, that Wolverine had a pretty superior center of gravity.
Yeah, that's what did it. I don't know. I just look at, again, it's my tired old NetFX refrain, but when I look at the Tenet stuff, I just kind of go, all right, let's try to ignore the right-wing media noise. Let's try to ignore the CNN noise because they're going to use it for their purposes and say, look, MAGA influencers. And I try to look at what happened here. We've got the most famous YouTubers who are not MAGA people. They're fucking fake MAGA people. They suckle the teat of Susan Wojcicki. Don't rest in peace, you bitch. On Google, right on YouTube. And they reprimand, which I know Patrick points out a lot, if you even try to start having a conversation about election fraud on one of these little sluts podcasts, they will immediately stop you because they're going to lose their money. So the end result of this is that these fuckers' reputations are destroyed, not because they're Russian propagandists, but because they take millions of dollars from people they've never met and have no idea where that money's coming from. They are content producers. They are not earnest political commentators. They produce content for money. And whoever gives them more money is who has their loyalty, which is why all of these fuckers told you to get vaccines and wear your masks until it was no longer politically expedient to do so. And it's why they turned on Donald Trump in November of 2022, telling everybody that he announced his candidacy for 2024 too early. And the reason they were all mad, which I wrote about at the time, so it's documented in history, is that he front ran the Ron DeSantis op by 2 months. And they all knew the DeSantis op was coming. He took all the thunder, all the momentum, and all the fundraising away from it. And that was supposed to be their cash cow into the future.
Good point.
Well,
so they're a bunch of little hoes and they can go fuck themselves. I mean,
they really can go fuck themselves. Yeah. And the thing is, they don't have any credibility with anybody who matters, but they still make absolute shit tons of money. Shit tons of money.
Yeah.
And I always told people, when it came to COVID, they were always saying, well, I needed the money. I had to worry about my job. And I always said in response, I killed all those people because I needed the money is not the defense that you think it is. And for the same reason, I deceived the entire population of the United States because I was getting paid millions of dollars is not the defense that little fucking queer Tim Pool thinks it is. That little son of a bitch is just open about it. I can't talk about that because then I'll get demonetized. Fuck you.
Yeah.
So you're getting paid to lie. That's what just come out and say it, you little fag. And that's what somebody needs to say to him live on the air where he can't redact it.
It should be you, Patrick.
Nice. They
Should have been
me
you,
on.
Patrick.
Your
They should
invite
have
is
me
coming
on.
any day now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I've heard the arguments and I've made them myself in the past. And there's the counter arguments of they're reaching people we can't reach. Why can't we reach them? Why can't we reach them? Because the gatekeepers that are making millions and millions of dollars are a bulwark between us and these people. So they're translating Google-friendly and regime-friendly narratives to them. They are your enemy. And when you're stuck in a conning feedback loop and going on YouTube, like watching YouTube with them talking back and forth, that's you're participating in it. That's what these people are. And it's going to be, I mean, I doubt they're even going to address any of it on the air. Or if they do, they're just going to paper over the fact that they took the hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, they think that everybody's upset about Russia. It's not about Russia. It's about all the money you were taking from a random fucking oligarch you never met.
And the funny thing is, guys, the Russians are not paying them to do jack shit. It's our own intelligence community making them filthy rich.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, it's not the controlled opposition, it's the promoted opposition. They just got good at figuring out how to make the algorithm like you. And if the algorithm happens to want them to be mouthpieces for a Babylonian death cult, then so be it. They like their little dollars. Their little demon squares.
They've been chosen as the official counter narrative. That's obviously not us. They're not going to allow us to do that.
Oh,
what's
definitely not coming tonight.
You know what's funny about that though, Zach, is that I feel like it's funny every once in a while John will be like, damn it, we got another YouTube strike, like we got banned again. And I'll tell him privately, I'm like, John, every time this happens, it's literally good for the Badlands brand.
Yes, it
like,
is.
The second, unless something changes, like we could go into a future where management completely changes or an internet bill of rights comes out and is codified, and then we can go on YouTube and no longer have to be ashamed of that. But in the meantime, he'll be like, oh man, we got demonetized. We can't go on YouTube anymore. We got struck again. It's like, that means that we are still not regime approved. And it tells you another thing. They look to see who they're allowing on, right? Like people think, oh, you don't have to be part of the machine to get super popular on YouTube. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, you do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you
Yes,
do.
you do. You absolutely. There are employees at Google that are pouring through every script that comes out of a Timcast, looking at every single thing that is said. Now, do I think there's direct coordination? I actually don't. I don't go that far and think there's direct premeditated coordination, but it's self-censoring. They are self-censoring their scripts and trying to get that money coming in. They don't have to plan it in advance. And then they get their emails and their talking tos about what you're not supposed to talk about in the future, which is why they then censor their guests.
Yeah, I was going to say, they don't need to have somebody from YouTube sitting down with them and approving every single script because they've already gone through their approved talking points and what they're not allowed to say. So, yeah, they just do it themselves.
They've got AI that can read every script.
It's the
Every
same thing that
single word.
it's the same thing we kind of saw unfold on Twitter, now become X. Once they started doing the ad share revenue, a lot of people started self-censoring because they liked those couple $100, every 2 weeks.
Right.
And
Yeah, I have normie friends that are constantly throwing, some of these channels at me from YouTube, and I just, it's all the Connie kind of propaganda, and I just tell them, I'm like, look, I don't trust anybody that didn't get banned from YouTube, and they're like, oh, well, that's like a badge of honor. I'm like, kind of, because it means you're telling the truth. You're not self-censoring yourself. Like they're not necessarily telling lies, but they're not telling the truth. and the stuff that you really need to hear, they're going to self-edit themselves so that they can keep that money coming in.
Well,
I agree with you. It's not necessarily a big, a behind the scenes sit down with YouTube where they're telling them they know what they can and can't say, and they'll avoid, topics like COVID and election fraud and the vaccines, all that good stuff.
They will stop telling the truth at the point where it's going to compromise their money.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not getting the whole truth. So what's the point? So yeah,
It's exactly. It's like, to use the analogy, it's the good Germans excuse. Like, I didn't get on here as Tim Pool and, pick your Con Inc. influencer. I didn't get on here to consciously tell lies. I believe that. I actually do believe that in most cases. But right when a guest starts kind of going off the trail, and, the only time that we'll ever do it is when we think, like, we believe in the Constitution, right? When we talk about free speech, it's like constitutional free speech. If you start threatening people and doing things like that, then we're going to censor you too, because you're not allowed to do that. Like, you're breaking the law. You're not breaking YouTube law. You're breaking the law, United States law. But on YouTube, it's the only stuff I'll watch there is stuff that is, if it's political, it's adjacent. Like, I'll watch entertainment stuff. I'll watch interesting things like that. But when it's political, overtly political commentary, you're just getting the bumper, like the bumper rails version.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because everything is politics adjacent now. That's the thing that made our culture so friggin' ugly, was the fact that everything, they just crapped all over everything. So you have like the Critical Drinker, a really good critic of movies. And I also like Dave Cullen. And what do?
I like him too, yeah.
They hate the fact that the message is being injected into everything. Social Marxism or cultural Marxism, or whatever you want to call it, wokeism, DEI, it goes by many names. And they basically make an entire living out of lamenting the fact that everything is being vandalized in this fashion. And yet, not a single one of them, and you've pointed this out, Burning Bright, they never figure out that it is intentional vandalism. Do you think that's because the moment they do, YouTube will demonetize them?
I feel like Nerdrotic and
I was going to just say, Gary.
I feel like Dave is he's right on with it too. I mean, he understands. I guess I feel like every single like cultural channel that I watch on YouTube does get it. I feel like Critical Drinker gets it too. I mean,
he doesn't get that it's deliberate.
I don't
really. Okay, well,
I agree with Patrick. I agree with both of you. I would say my feeling out of watching Drinker is that he seems genuinely flabbergasted at why people are doing what they're doing. He gets that it's ideology, and he gets what's happening in terms of the ideology of the people making the content, and that it's woke and it's DEI. Nerdrotic, Gary and Dave Cullen, I think too. The one who I'd give the most props to is Razorfist.
Certainly.
They're the ones who, Gary I can respect because he will say this is intentional. Like he is the one who he leaked. I think this was back during the WGA strike, where you had the Writers Guild of America. For anybody that doesn't know, they struck this past summer, as did the Directors Guild, etc. Horrible time to do it. But what happened during that time is Gary from the Nerdrotic YouTube channel, he got a copy of internal documentation from the Writers Guild of America. If you're watching anything on TV that is not independently produced, you are watching a product that came out of union writers of the Writers Guild of America.
Yep. And
you're like, oh, what's that matter, right? They're all different writers. Wrong. The Writers Guild of America has criteria.
Yes.
That you have to meet now.
Illegal criteria.
Illegal criteria that you have to meet to get a script even looked at in Hollywood now. Now, this was not the case even 10 years ago. It used to be stuff like, you couldn't have overtly whatever it was, right? But Gary had released what their criteria was several months ago. And as Zach said, it's literally illegal stuff where they were talking about, like, your script needs to have this many different races in it. It has to
The
have.
Bechdel test. It's like the legitimate Bechdel test, which is hilarious.
It was literally saying, so this is what's so fucked up about it, going back to Patrick's point. It's not just that Hollywood is now infested with ideologue communists who hate you. It's that even good writers who want to get a script through Hollywood
Can't.
have to put all these criteria into their script. So when you're watching like an action movie with John Wick and it's otherwise pretty good and not retarded or anything, and then you see an off-the-wall strong whammon scene come into a movie like that, it was put into the script because to get that script certified by the Writers Guild of America, there had to be a strong female-led action scene. There had to be this many black people in the cast, this many Asians. And by the way, that's also behind the camera. And the crazy thing about that is that, shockingly, the vast majority of technical jobs, like 95% of the recruits, are men. But now they want 50-50 camera operators to be women. They want 50-50 directors. They want 50-50. So when you see the quality of things going down, not just the script, it's because they're throwing out the resumes of the top 30, California tech school graduates and going to number 52 because it's the first woman they got to.
Or
who
the
was a
first
camera
gay
operator.
black trans writer.
Yeah.
Like you're guaranteed a job if you're black and trans. But
Yeah.
if you actually went to school for this stuff or you are an established career artist, then forget about it.
Yep. Rogue12 in the chat just made a good point. He said the new movie Twisters is like that. The first 10 minutes have all the diversity, then it gets good. So the director of Twisters is an Asian guy, and he basically got canceled this summer because he was taught, they were like, oh, what about climate change? And what are your messages in the, because it's a disaster movie, right? And he was like, I think all of that stuff's garbage. I just wanted to make a movie about people like getting fucked up by tornadoes.
Yes.
And as the commenter points out in the chat there, Rogue, he squeezes all the diversity into the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then it's white dude, white chick driving a truck around tornadoes.
Yeah.
And the movie did well
Nice.
because he's kind of gaming the DEI system where he's like, yeah, man, we had a black guy in it. We had a gay trans like bartender, and then the movie starts after all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get it out of the way of the credits.
So the director's cut can come out and they can just like omit that first 10 minutes.
That's so badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one way to do it. I love it.
Hey, Burning Bright, where do I get my hands on this document? I want to read it.
I gotta. Well, I don't know if did he ever release it or just talk about it?
I only ever heard it discussed. I don't know that I ever saw the document itself, but I mean, it's there have been there was a couple of other channels that I had heard interviews with career filmmakers who came out after the release of that document and confirmed its
They
legitimacy.
corroborated it.
Yeah, they didn't want to go on record because they were like, I still have to work here, even though I can't get a job because I'm a white guy.
Is this something that like your top tier actors would probably have a copy of?
I mean, writers. The
writers,
writers and
yeah.
the
writers that would
people
have
who
it.
are members of the Writers Guild,
Yeah.
they would have it.
The talent probably doesn't really have any of it. They have a talent.
Yeah.
They have their own union, but it's not. It wouldn't be. They wouldn't have criteria like that. In fact, some of the talent will be pretty pissed off about it because the Who White boys are having a little bit of a tough time in Hollywood right now of getting movie roles. So they probably wouldn't like that.
So I mean, they don't actually need to state that explicitly. They just, I mean, you look at the script and you know what they're casting for, and I'm sure that they're even taking parts and then perhaps rewriting them to insert more of this stuff if they need to. I'm actually really excited to see the new Snow White from Disney because they've wasted so much money. And when the first pictures emerged, and it was wasn't the seven dwarfs, it was the seven gay transgender non-binary people or whatever.
Non-height challenged. Yeah, they were just normal sized people.
Yes, just freaks. Anyways, I thought that was pretty hilarious, and now they've had to backtrack on it. And it's been interesting to watch Hollywood have to completely backpedal on all of this stuff because they recognize that people are not buying it. But I don't think
Patrick. Sorry, go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say I don't think we've beat them in any respect. I mean, like they're simply dialing it back so that they can soften the blow and continue to do it over the next several decades if that's what it takes. But obviously, people need to not give their money to Hollywood.
Patrick, if you want to share my screen here, people think this is that like I used to love this shit. I mean, I'm a writer. I wanted to have movies produced and this kind of stuff. So my bitterness is also rooted in, when you kind of see how the sausage is made. But this is kind of ironic for Badlands Media, but there's a new Predator movie in development right now called Badlands.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And what's interesting, though, so this has got director Dan Trachtenberg, Predator movie, legit movie, decent budget, tens of millions of dollars, right? $100 million movie. This is the official wording out of the casting call for this movie of who they are looking for. This is literally what goes out to the talent, okay? So this casting call has to be approved by the Writers Guild of America to kind of answer your question, Alpha. The talent is not involved in this, but the casting directors have to follow the WGA and DGA standards. The first character here, Thea, identifies as a female or non-binary, open ethnicity, mid-20s, mid-40s. Thea spent most of her life in a laboratory. Smart, witty, enthusiastic, and unflappable. So a girl boss, right? A totally unflappable girl boss. An innate disregard for danger. She's not because she's fearless. Strong comedy chop. That's impossible for a woke person, by the way. So stop looking now. She won't let anything get in her way. So this is every female of the last 20 years of fucking movies.
Oh no, you just hopped onto the next role. This is a twin sisters.
Twin
so that
sister.
was the first one grew up in a lab. The next one, Tessa, has a military intensity. Okay, so just a different flavor of girl boss to set them apart. Yeah.
And it literally says, the reason I thought of it is it literally says this is a non-binary. This is not being said in the script. This is going out to the casting people and saying, your character, if you audition for this movie, your character, whether it's acknowledged in the movie or not, identifies as non-binary. And that is how you need to approach preparing for this role. So it's that subversive.
Have you guys seen the movie Jones Plantation?
No. What is that?
All right, so when it first got brought to my attention, then I said, I'm like, man, listen, I'm not trying to get into like some racial thing about slavery. And they're like, no, dude, just watch it. So I had a chance to talk to the director on Spaces a couple days ago. They use the concept of the plantation and slavery and freedom and a plantation owner and all this to completely, like, if you've never been, so let's just say there's a normie that's never taken the red pill and they watch this movie, they're going to be like, that kind of sounds like law enforcement. That kind of sounds like banking. You finish that movie with, oh my God, I'm a slave. It is it'd be a good movie for you guys to do, BB.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't heard about it. Jones Plantation?
As a matter of fact, I can get you guys a director to come on the show with you guys.
I'll look it up.
And it's one of those ones because they went independent because of all the rules, because they started doing the filming during COVID, and he was like, we don't have the budget for that, because he was saying that if they had one person that tests positive, you would have to shut that person who was around them wouldn't be able to be on set for 2 weeks. He goes, right there, we're bankrupt, we're done. That's all the money.
Right.
He goes, so they went and did it on their own. They had to do casting actually virtually and do it all that way. But I'm telling you, man, it's jonesplantationfilm.com is the website for whoever wants to go see it.
I'm gonna pull up the trailer right now.
Oh yeah, good call. He said you can watch it for free on Tubi, but if you want to watch it commercial free, you can get on the website for like $7.
Cool.
All right, well, let's watch the trailer. We all live on Jones Plantation. You can control a man with brute violence, but you can never truly own a man until he's convinced that your word is law and obedience is a virtue. A film destined to be a cult classic and at the forefront of American dissident cinema. I like it already. Oh, hang on.
With brute violence, you can control a man for a period with brute violence, but you cannot truly own a man unless he thinks your word is law and that he must obey. Is virtuous for doing so.
We are losing money. A little more every month that goes by with no end in sight. And they can sense weakness. And they are gonna smell blood like a gator to chum. They're gonna kill us both.
Mr. Scott said this man is a miracle worker. I think he can help us. You're a Nick?
Good people, good people.
It's like a
My name
Django
is
analog.
Mr. Smith. As of this very moment, you are now all free. Free at last.
Now on. We are all in this together.
This plantation will run on equality. I have created something called Jones Plantation Credits.
We're gonna keep them up to their ears in that.
Jimmy Jack will now be in charge of our new security team to protect this plantation and to serve all of you. You two are going to have a little contest to see who can win the hearts and minds of the human livestock out there.
Jones!
Most people are weak-minded to wield real power. You must be willing to do what most consider unthinkable.
What most people consider to be unthinkable is that men like you even exist.
That's our greatest advantage. As free people, we work together for mutual benefits, blessing our love and loyalty to the organization. We are not free. I ain't no slave. They have tricked you into thinking that choosing your own master is the same as being free. You offer them a truth that they don't want. They want to feel safe. There's a dark thing going on in this plantation. Every man deserves freedom, but freedom isn't free.
I'm Nathaniel Jones, and I approve this message. God bless you, and God bless this glorious.
I'd like to think DiCaprio based his character.
Hey,
I like it.
Control the land.
guys,
Or
at
prove
what point
through
are we
violence
going to be able
that you
to
cannot
do
truly-
low budget films, please? And when do I get to audition? I want to play a racist white person.
Play one.
That's be a stretch, Patrick. Come on, you can't do that.
I have a lot of range. I can do it.
So, funny story. In high school, we were supposed to put on a production of To Kill a Mockingbird, and I auditioned for Mr. Ewell, and I got the role. And then they canceled it because it was too controversial.
Deep state, early deep state subversion. They knew what could have been.
Gosh. Yeah.
Zach was like, I bring it up every day.
I don't think I've spoken that out loud for a couple of decades, but it was appropriate given the context of the
I'll tell you
conversation.
guys what, though. I promise you this. If you guys watch it, you will walk away with being like, this is going to red pill the shit out of some normies.
Well, and it brings up a white pill point, Alpha, because as Zach said earlier, obviously we don't want to be giving our money to this bullshit. But alternatively, the positive action is to give your money to some good shit. And you actually mentioned the movie earlier, Zach, Megalopolis.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about Megalopolis is, I don't know if the movie's good or not. I know that I'm not going to listen to critics about it. But it's starring Adam Driver, actually, and directed by Francis Ford Coppola. So literally Hollywood director's royalty. And it is independently written, directed, produced, financed by Francis Ford Coppola. So I think it's $100 million movie, something like that.
All of his own money.
All of his own money. And he specifically did an interview last week where he said he cast actors who he deemed to have been canceled.
Yep.
Because he knew they weren't getting work and he wanted them to represent his work. So I don't really even know what the messaging is. I know that it's very enigmatic and kind of vague when you watch the trailers. It looks really interesting. Kind of reminds you of Metropolis. I think that's what he's kind of hearkening back to early American cinema. But it's looks really visually interesting. But that's the kind of movie that I would support just because of the story around it. Like, we've got a Hollywood royalty director who is putting his own money in here and saying, we don't need studios. So what Hollywood wants is they want this movie to crash and burn, because they want it to be a warning to creatives that you need us. You need the Writers Guild. You need the Directors Guild. You need Hollywood production companies. And you need Hollywood marketing agencies, none of which he's using for this movie.
All right.
So-
and they've tried to cancel him too before the film debuted.
What is the economic model that is going to make this movie a success? How does it work?
I'm not sure. Is he? I'm wondering if he's going to try to do a.
I mean,
these days you'd think just.
It's supposed to be widely distributed. I mean, it's going to be playing in theaters. You know, Francis Ford Coppola has done some, incredible work in the past, but I mean, he's been kind of kicked out, excised from the Hollywood system for quite some time. And that's one of the reasons why he's self-financed the movie, because this
Francis Ford Coppola. What the hell happened?
Well, I mean, he's just
said things I didn't like.
Yeah, he said things that people didn't like. I mean, he's got a reputation for being difficult because he's an auteur, so to speak. I mean, he's got his vision and he wants to see it produced. And he's been trying to make this film since Apocalypse
for like
Now,
30 years, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick, I'll just play this as B-roll. I won't put the audio on if you want to share my screen, just so people can see visually, stuff that he's doing in this is pretty interesting.
And it's relevant to the modern times because it's about basically the fall of Rome, but in a modern sense.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't seen.
Let's watch the whole trailer. Go ahead and start it over. Put the
Don't let the now destroy the forever.
Star Wars, Adam Driver.
One filmmaker has always been ahead of his time.
Go.
Now, from visionary writer and director Francis Ford Coppola, comes an event nothing can prepare you for.
Imagine today's society as a branch of civilization about to reach a dead end. Is this way we're living the only one that's available to us? My plan is a city that people can dream about.
Megalopolis. What about those standing in your way?
Power to the people!
You like it the way it is.
People don't need dreams. People need help now. Don't let the now destroy the forever.
We're in need of a great debate about the future.
Enjoy the show.
1, 2, 3. Yippee yay.
Oh, yes.
A lot of canceled actors.
There's still so much to accomplish, but is there time? Go.
Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis.
I think it looks pretty interesting.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I go see this in the theater, am I giving my money to Satan or the good guys?
No.
Well, I look for negative indicators, and even though that trailer has Lionsgate plastered on it, I believe that Francis Ford Coppola is paying Lionsgate to distribute the movie.
Yeah, that's all they are, is the distributors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
when is that coming out?
I saw on Wikipedia September 28th or something. I think it's already been out for critics, and it's got a 50% or something, but I don't listen to any of them. And I mean, to me, it's the story behind the movie again, and even actually that's the most story details that I've seen in one of those trailers. And it's actually kind of interesting when you think of the theming of future cities and some of the stuff we've been talking about, where they're saying it looks like his opposition in that movie is essentially a communist who's talking about giving the people something right now, and he's saying, no, we need to think of the future.
Yeah,
I don't know.
trying to destroy the Republic.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good.
Okay, so is it getting released anytime soon? Can I see? I love that cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natalie Emmanuel, that
Mhm.
freaking hot chick who played Missandei in in Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
Then there's Aubrey Plaza, she's like, in my opinion, Aubrey Plaza is kind of like a Norm Macdonald character in her own way. She never really
Yeah.
breaks character when she goes into interviews, and she's doing the same basic shtick, never telling the truth, lying all the time, and always in joke mode, just like
Yeah.
Norm. But sometimes she actually just does acting, so that would be interesting to watch as well.
Well,
Okay.
the participation of this movie, I mean, if you look at, Adam Driver is a pretty based guy. Unfortunately for Adam, he was part of those Star Wars sequels. Even people who hate those Star Wars sequels usually caveat it by saying Adam Driver was fantastic and did his best, but the material he was given to work with was horrible. So this is kind of a bit of a redemption tour for him, I think. And he was the only member of that Star Wars cast that criticized the movies. I mean, the other ones, I don't even blame them. A lot of the other ones were kind of like, whatever.
John Boyega definitely did.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But then Boyega also cucked out on some other stuff where he got really into social movements
Yeah.
around communism. But then you've got Aubrey Plaza there. You've got John Voight, who a lot of MAGA people are aware is an open Trump supporter.
Yeah, he's great.
Did you guys see the Reagan movie?
I want
haven't.
to. Have not.
Yeah, I went and saw it last week. It's the first movie I've seen in like years. It's crazy. I've been at the theater in so long, but yeah, it's good.
So were people at the film with you, or were you one of the only people in the theater?
No, it was a packed theater. I was in one of
Wow.
those kind of luxury theaters where you have like the reclining chairs and stuff. So it wasn't like a huge theater, but it was packed, and people gave it a standing ovation at the end. I don't think it quite deserved that. I mean, it's kind of a fluff piece on Reagan, but it's good. Certainly, Dennis Quaid does a great job. I mean,
I've heard
it's
good
kind-
things for sure.
Yeah.
So last weekend, Lisa and I saw, and I haven't been to the movies since like 2019, maybe 2018, but we saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and I loved it.
Oh yeah.
And then the next day we saw Alien Romulus, which
Did you
I
like
also
that?
I did like it. I really did.
Okay.
Lisa didn't care for it because she hasn't seen any of the Alien movies, but I'm a
okay.
huge fan of Alien. And Alien and Aliens, obviously, retrospectively, Alien 3 has its shining moments. Alien Resurrection is just gonzo, and not
I hated
in a good
Prometheus.
way. Prometheus. And what was the other one?
Resurrection or
no,
Covenant.
Alien Covenant.
Which is a shame because they wasted. Maybe my favorite working actor today is Fassbender, or one of them.
Yes, they
certainly.
they did. Yeah,
I liked Alien Resurrection.
Get the fuck out of here.
Who was the director of that? Jean Genot or something like that. I mean, he's got a couple of great French films that I really dug.
It's always
and
the French. That's why
Alien
Patrick likes
Resurrection. It's got things about it that I like.
It's got Winona Ryder being a robot. It's got all sorts of stuff, dude. I enjoyed that movie, and I know it was terrible. I actually enjoyed it. I couldn't even enjoy freaking Prometheus. I couldn't even get something out of it. And
So
that was
those were
horrifying.
it was obvious that Ridley Scott was trying to step away from Alien and create this like new modern chapter, but then people were like, this is shit, you have to make it about Alien, and so he had to like backpedal. But I think Alien Resurrection is a guilty pleasure. I was almost on board until like the bastardization of the alien came out, and all of a sudden it's a baby alien, and it was just like, oh
I
my
love
god.
that.
What?
Watch it again as a comedy, and you'll get it.
Definitely, I can see that. Yeah.
Zach, pitch.
You want me to pitch an
This-
alien script?
No. I'm pitching. I'm pitching
Okay.
you.
Okay.
You are Disney right now.
Yeah.
Disney bought Fox. Disney has the rights to not only the Alien and Predator franchises now,
Yeah.
but all Marvel characters.
Okay.
Crossover movie. You fly Hugh Jackman's Wolverine to the homeworld the jungle world,
The Predators,
and you have a predator hunt on Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. You send a squad out of like 7 predator elite hunters, and you take it. You play it straight. I don't want the hint of a wink at the camera.
No
I
comedy,
want
no fourth
played
wall.
straight.
Yeah.
This is Wolverine in the jungles of another world with 7 predator elites hunting him because their archives have shown them that he would be the most single dangerous thing to hunt in the universe.
I love this. I
would
love
watch
this
it.
very much. But real quick follow-up question: isn't Wolverine basically unkillable?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a healing factor. Yeah, definitely.
Mostly unkillable.
Yeah, yeah. They could probably
Unless
cut
he
his
meets
head
a
off and
predator.
then separate it from his body and just keep it in a tank or something like that. That would be the ultimate trophy.
But if you've
right?
got this super advanced, civilization of predator hunters, they know his whole dossier.
Mm-hmm.
They'd probably all be like that would be the pitch to them in the predator homeworld. They'll be like, "This is the one you can't kill. This is the guy you can't kill."
So
And
it
they'll
would
like,
be
"What?"
capturing him. You would have to capture him and put him in something that he can't escape from.
Yeah.
For-
So somebody asked if Danny Glover would be there too. He would only be there for connective tissue in the first 3 minutes of the film, and then likely he would be murdered like almost immediately.
We'd do it for effect. We'd start the movie with these predators, each of these predators on a famous hunt. One of them kills the Schwarzenegger character.
Yes.
One of them kills the Danny Glover character, and then you get. That's how they made their claim to fame on the Predator homeworld, and these are the ones going after Wolverine.
What about Jesse the Body Ventura? Will he be in
No,
this
he
movie
survives.
as well?
Yeah. Okay, so then obviously we have to ask about Aliens versus Predator. The first
Probably
one
ruined the franchise.
totally garbage. Hated it. But I have to say, in AVP 2, I really respected how they just
I respect
all
it.
out killing the kid, you know.
I
was
want it
like, well,
clipped
they're not-
out. I want it clipped out that Zach's trying to salvage a sentence that started with "In AVP 2, I really respected." ...
Oh, okay, what about Predators? Did you guys like Predators?
I actually
loved it.
did like Predators.
Yeah, I really liked it.
That's what I was thinking of. Is like Predators, but they were like trying for the right vibe.
Yeah.
But they put them on a different world, and they put them out in the woods. But just do that with Wolverine. That's what I want to see.
I would see it. But that'll never happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, with Alien Romulus, I mean, I really liked it. The thing that I had problems with is that they kind of played fast and loose with the lore and the callbacks. There was, you don't need to have somebody giving the "get away from her, you bitch" line. That was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I thought, as a whole, it was a worthwhile sequel, and I hope that they don't completely screw the pooch in the future, and that this can actually lead to good modern Alien movies.
Yep, this is the shit we need. We need.
You know what?
I think we need an era, like a decade of cleansing from the woke era, where before we can get to new American cinema, like this new age of original cinema, I think Deadpool and Wolverine actually could be a good start of just like palate cleanser movies. Like just give us Commandos, just fucking things up. Like
the only
10
problem is-
years.
The only problem is Captain America 4 has already been made.
Black
And
Black.
it's
Hey,
going to
guys.
come out. It's going to erase any goodwill.
Yes,
that
it's true.
Hey guys, I'm gonna jet.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Been fun. See y'all next time. Bye.
Peace.
All right, I could grab rants and then we can.
Let's do that. Yeah,
Let's do that.
I will say I'm really, really salty about the future that we could have gotten with Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5. I think that was a missed opportunity, and it would have righted any wrongs from Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection.
You know what's one of
know
Hollywood's biggest? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just say I know he's kind of on a lot of people's shit list, but what about I had to look it up. I was trying to remember what it was called. I Am Legend 2, Will Smith's new one.
No.
I don't have high
Are they
hopes for
actually doing that?
2025. Yeah, the
Jeez,
trailer's
okay.
out. The trailer's out for it already.
So
as a German Shepherd owner, I have a soft spot for the first one, but I can't watch it because it makes me too sad.
Holy shit. Keckfrog says, my ex-boyfriend wrote Alien and Alien versus Predator, I'm assuming. It was stolen from him. He went to court and lost. Wow. Interesting.
Damn.
Yeah. I'd like to continue that conversation.
Not shocked.
I'm sorry. I completely forgot what you just said, Alpha.
No, I was just saying if you guys were interested
I Am
in
Legend
all.
too.
And
I Am Legend. That's
too.
right. Okay. So the original ending of I Am Legend, I felt was much stronger with, with him realizing that he's the monster and then sacrificing himself. The fact that they left it open for a part 2, I felt like it was a shameless cash grab.
With a girl boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got Crane Op sent $7 over. Jay, if Alpha comes mañana, make sure you take him to Busy Bee 2. That is if he's not late.
That is in San. Yeah, we have a SoCal Badlanders meetup tomorrow in San Pedro, and Q Diggers. I mean, not Q Digger. I'm looking at Q Digger's comment here. No, Crane Op. He mentioned a couple. I guess that was his stomping ground. He worked there for like 40 years, and he said there's a sandwich place called Busy Bee that we need to go. So we need to go check out.
Sweet.
But the actual meetup is at a brewery, and I can't even pronounce the name, but we will be there tomorrow afternoon. Anybody in SoCal want to join us?
Dragonfly Sister, $20. Can't think of a better trio. Thanks, guys. I
fucked it all up.
What that would have been me, John, and J Trade, I think.
I think that back in the early days of this show. Yeah.
And then she said, best edition Alpha for another $20.
Yeah, nice.
But then she didn't send one over, I don't think, for when Zach joined or Patrick. Lee Walden, try a royal flush with Crown. Enjoy. Don't think I will. Valesco 16, Sitrep's low key, one of the best shows on Badlands. DPH, Sitrep defected. Sitrep's okay. I mean, it's kind of like conspiracy. A lot of conspiracy theorizing goes on there. Garoy, nothing better than a Harvey Wallbanger hangover the next morning.
Oof.
Harvey Wallbanger.
Mm-hmm.
What's a Harvey What's in that?
I don't know. Sounds like maybe it's describing what you do when you drink it.
It's one of those old fashioned drinks, like an old fashioned, but it's what is it? A gin drink or something? I don't know what's in a Harvey.
Denise Ann, Everclear is like water to Texans.
Yeah.
Liberty Line, run cheap bottle of vodka through a Brita a few times, add a pinch of sweetener and a squirt of filtered lemon juice. It's like, that's too sad. I'd be way too sad doing that. I'd be like, what is my life? What happened? I could have been somebody.
What have I become?
Lee Walden, you're killing me, Smalls. My grandpa from the old country made the best Italian wine, and I helped squeezing the grapes. Of course, was part of the proof. At 10 years old, I was a connoisseur.
Were you squeezing the grapes, like stomping on them with your feet? Because that
have you
me always
seen that
like,
video?
What's yeah,
the lady. Oh man, like
when she fell,
devastating. Yeah, that's just like internet lore.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up.
the most infamous, just like devastating fall in a very mundane but strange situation.
Okay, so a Harvey Wallbanger is vodka, Galliano, and orange juice. So it's
orange juice. Even though I like it, you put that in anything, it gets too acidic. Can't be screwing around with that.
Can't drink a lot of those. No, you'll have.
Go Smith, $10. BB, love you, but you do talk a lot. I know, I get that a lot. See, what I'll do sometimes on Liberty Den is I'll try to bail John out if he doesn't have anybody joining or something. And earlier, or like last week, he was like, "Oh, I don't know if anybody's going to join Liberty Den," and then this week, I joined and everybody's here. Like J-Treat's here, Alpha's here, everyone's here. So,
all right. Here's the grape stomping on local Fox affiliate.
Catastrophic.
What?
All right, you're ready? Give us a 30-second time. Here we go. So what's the deal here? There's a contest to stomp, and how are you measuring who does the best stomping?
And whoever stomps the most shoes wins an overnight stay, but it's not the only thing you can do.
The measuring cups are down below, right?
Measuring cups are down below.
All right. And if you win, you get to stay at Chateau Milan. And what else do you have going on here?
Well, it's great stomping point in the thing. You can come and spend the day listening to live music, eating international food, having wine tours, tasting.
If you know, you know.
Here it comes.
A lot of fun, a whole day. Fast
I've never seen this.
Cut away.
Zach, replay it, and guys, try to be quiet because it's the sounds of
sounds.
anguish.
Okay, hold on.
The
Make
thud
sure.
followed by the sound.
Turned up
Yeah.
all the way up.
This person makes.
Okay. Look at her face.
No, I think she is.
They're like, she's fucking dead.
He's died.
Okay, we're gonna make sure she is.
Try and check on her.
Oh my God.
As soon as we can.
We'll be back right after this.
That was
that
like, like a faces of death tragedy right there.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh
God.
God.
That was my first time I've seen it. I'd never seen that before.
Ow, 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 ow. I can't breathe.
I mean, the sounds she makes are not dissimilar to Mr. Hands. If you know, you know. Don't look that up, kids. Mateo, $20. Last I heard, Aurora, Colorado gangs are now threatening Venezuela gangs with gang violence. Come on, Colorado, do better, be better. This coming from a Colorado Latino.
That's true. I actually recovered that this week. And Chicago natives threatened the Venezuelan gangs. Venezuelan gangs responded by going into one of the most dangerous black neighborhoods in Chicago and opening fire. We're looking at a all-out gang war. People were worried about patriots going up against the government. It's now going to be the local gangs versus the Venezuelan gangs.
And you wonder who let them in, because I pointed out a couple of days ago when Nicolas Maduro won that election in Venezuela that all of the worst people in the world say he lost, the media put out a coordinated push to suggest somehow that this would cause a rampant rush of Venezuelan crime to infiltrate the United States. And then just a month later, we've got Venezuelan gangs in Colorado, right? It's like, it's almost like...
And our law enforcement's not trained for this kind. Our law enforcement we're used to dealing with, you get these gang members and they're trying to escape. You get enough of these guys together, they deal with law enforcement down south differently. It's combat. And whoever survives, survives. And our law enforcement, I don't think they're ready for, you draw your gun and people comply. Here it's you draw your gun and they're going to fire back and now you're in a gunfight.
Yeah. I just think, how did they know they were all coming in? It's like they're going to blame it all on Maduro, but not quite sure. Isn't it funny, though? Isn't it? This is when these people don't pay attention to their own narratives. They're telling you that Venezuela is going to be destabilized with Maduro's rule. So all the crime is going to flee to the United States.
Yeah, suddenly?
Because Maduro won. But think about that. So all the criminals in Venezuela do not want to be in a country that Maduro is leading.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't sound like... maybe Maduro is not quite the guy they're telling you he is.
Right, exactly.
Lee Walden... Had dogs all my life till now. Now I'm always running from them. Dragonfly sister, $20. Welcome, Patrick the Pilgrim. And then says, oh, she did say, Dragonfly sister sent $20 and said, oh goodness, Zach, best of the panel. So not only did she back Zach, she
thank you.
She elevated him to numero uno. Look at that.
Don't worry, somebody else will smash me in another one, I'm sure.
Yeah. B Gerbs for Alpha, keep the Russian costume. Halloween's just around the corner. Too funny. And keep those checks, man. I wrote the Righteous Russia series and didn't get anything from RT. Nothing. They're like, we don't need to pay this guy. He's
They don't
like
reach
just
out to
doing
me
it.
once after almost losing circulation to my head. I'm gonna be quite disappointed.
What's going on here? Lee Walden, the boys in the band, good start. What's missing? We need our lady friends. We don't have many of those around here. We got Ash. I think, isn't Ash in Germany?
Yeah, she is. I mean, I know she's in Europe, but I didn't know exactly where.
She's been like doing her brief takes from Europe. And Mateo 127, John Harold, if we were not awakened by all of you somehow coming to this Rumble channel would believe someone coming into this Rumble channel would believe this is in fact a damn psych op. That the world is flat.
Blaze Media employee confirmed.
Yeah. Counterinsurgent. Hey, what about O'Keefe and his military memo about the Tren de Aragua? So that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah, they're in New York. They're guarding the various hostels that they're staying in.
That's why we say though, these actuals can be true with these criminal gangs or whatever, but does the story make sense? Or a dictator won down there, so the criminals are running away from him. Astro Emmy, $17. When we live in Mongolia, I had things thrown at me and called names like Yellowhead because they thought I was Russian. But the Mongolians dislike the Chinese more than the Russians. Well, the Chinese history there is interesting, but I don't know. Ghost agrees. Ghost's done a lot of research on this, but I've got a really optimistic take on the world scene, and I think that the reason you're seeing world leaders like Putin and Xi go to Mongolia and go to Turkmenistan and Azerbaijan and fucking Astana and kick out all these globalists is that they're building the new Silk Road and they're kicking all these globalists out and they're repairing ties with ancient enemies, which is why a lot of these little photo ops that you see in US news of Vladimir Putin and the president of Mongolia, they seem like these weird little things and there's these ceremonies that are going on. It's like these are cultures that are trying to rebond after atrocities from hundreds of years ago. So, I don't know. I think it's good stuff. And they usually wear funny hats like Alpha has on. Astronomy, Putin and Trump have many fans in Mongolia. They like manly men. Mm-hmm. They're good fighters, too. Mateo, 127, saw Patrick Gunnels get a bag thrown over his head in a foreign territory. Did you see that turkey video?
Yes.
I think that's totally fake. I'll go full Chris Paul and Patrick and call that fake. And people that think that that's silly, Erdogan comes out and says he's going to join BRICS on Monday. And then on Tuesday, U.S. military gets assaulted by a violent Turkish gang. There are no injuries reported on either side, even though we're told there was a brawl between 5 Marines and 14 Turkish men. No injuries reported.
So they were pulling on them too.
It didn't fucking happen. Yeah,
I only saw the one guy getting a bag put over his
while
head.
he was laughing. He was laughing on camera.
Haven't heard anything else about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then they were talking about there were protests at the port the next day and all this. It's just...
Yeah, they go to join BRICS and all of a sudden the Turkish are acting like Russians. Crazy.
Yeah. Keith O'Higgins sounds like J.K. Rowling and J.R. Tolkien are your generation's Hugh Hefner and Larry Flint. I don't know about that. Then 1027 JS Alpha, you look like one of my ancestors. Thanks for that. Thanks for looking like one of his ancestors, Alpha.
I don't know how to take
that. Zen Papa, what do you guys think about Dan Bongino?
A good rumble. I mean,
I like Dan.
Yeah, I got no problems with Dan. But he kind of did a lot of the same stuff that many of these big name conservative Inc. people did. Not to the same degree. I mean, he did speak out against vaccine mandates, but it didn't really happen until after everybody was already getting fired for not taking the vaccines. So, I mean,
I like Dan.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with him. And obviously, he's an investor in Rumble. He's an authoritative voice because he was formerly Secret Service. So, I think he's a net positive, definitely. And, I've been, cool with Tucker for a lot longer than everybody else here. I mean, I saw what he was becoming and I really thought it was a good thing. And, Dan Bongino is a good guy.
Ironically, with Tucker, I was super suspicious because I liked him.
Yeah.
I'm like he's really talented and really good at those rants and really good writers. And he's good off the cuff too. And I'm like, if they've got their hooks all the way in him, this would be a hell of a turn, right? Like you get a guy like that to turn on Trump. So, but it's good to be suspicious as long as you're willing to reevaluate.
For sure. Yes, that's the thing.
I got trust issues.
Yeah, I get it. I still
we don't trust you either, Alpha.
I do understand. I know, very true. But I do understand what you're saying, BB, because I had that same thing. Why do I like Tucker so damn much? You know, and with Bongino, I respect the man highly.
Yeah.
But there's just things that I know that he knows because he has to know it more than I do. So I'm like, why aren't you saying this? Like, why aren't you bringing this up? Like, you know. And I think it comes back to it's just he's got to make sure he stays within those parameters too. And that's the part where I just get frustrated.
Well, I mean, he also who knows what he's signed to, you know? I mean, he was a government employee. So, I mean, we don't know that line that he can go up to. I mean, I think we're probably seeing it, but there's probably things that he knows that he's not able to talk about because we're talking legal jeopardy. I don't begrudge anybody, from, keeping their mouth shut if it means that they're going to go to prison. I mean, I truly do believe that Dan Bongino is pushing the envelope as much as he's able to.
Yeah, and some of my theories on him is almost more like he's operating in a window, but not in the same way that Tenet Media people are. They're operating, I think, in like a monetization window.
Sure.
I think Bongino is operating on a sort of a timeline window, and like Chris always talks about information timelines. I think he knows and believe, to your point, Alpha, probably knows a lot more. But sometimes it gives me more confidence when I see people like that, when I'm like, they know that these things are going to be addressed, given the people that they know. And he's focused on, like, Hunter Biden, and the White House, and crack. Like, it's like, okay, Dan. But again, like, those are the people that I don't mind when people are like, oh, that's for a certain audience, because he's not doing the YouTube thing and censoring himself, I don't think. I think he's focusing in on like Biden crime family, where in my personal opinion, if you want to graduate beyond just yelling about Joe Biden 24 hours a day or Kamala Harris, then you come to places like Badlands where we can talk about other stuff.
And I understand that perspective. Like the way you have gateway drugs, you got to have gateway content that's going to lead us. I don't think, well, at least I assume most of us didn't go full raw when it came to conspiracies. It was
right, yeah.
Something led you to something.
Well, I know. I guess I always did. Nothing really shocks me. I'm like, yes, of course, yes.
My problem was my awakening was 9/11 stuff, going into that rabbit hole, but I took the wrong, I think I took the right path at that time, but I came to the wrong conclusions, where I was like, I was right. It was the Bushes and the CIA, which it was. But then I was like, now we've got Obama's going to come in and he's going to take care of it.
I think a lot of people thought that maybe that was going to happen,
I still go on a rant like once a month, just blasting MAGA people who still make fun of Democrats, when I'm like, you voted for Bushes.
It's the Uniparty.
You voted for Bushes.
Yeah.
You
proud
voted
to say
for
I
the
never
worst.
voted for a Bush.
Yeah.
You just
there
have
are
to
a
know
lot
what
of
the Uniparty is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, until you get to the part where you recognize the Uniparty, you are still stuck in D's bad, R's good, or vice versa, depending on what side you're in. So
yeah.
There are a lot of MAGA who voted for Donald Trump entirely by accident, who still don't understand that.
I still consider myself in the newlywed phase. I mean, I didn't get red pill till 2019. I was a hardcore normie before then. I'd give my brother such a hard time when, there's different color popes. I'm like, dude, get out of here with that shit. What's wrong?
Oh, hey, Alpha, somebody told me about this sheriff in Tennessee that just was investigating the TBI. He got raided, and I didn't know anything about him, and I pulled up an article, and it was him on your show.
Sean Taylor, he's one of my buddies.
I would like for you to put me in touch with him. I'd love to interview him.
I can absolutely make that happen.
Cool.
That's how he's got you now, Zach.
There's a huge article that Mark Fincham dropped earlier this afternoon that goes into some other disclosures that came in. So I'll share something with you off air, because they're going to bring it out. I don't know if they've done it already, and I don't want to be the guy that screws that up. But
okay.
I guess off air.
Posto for Hope, that's what's going on with BH. They want them to use Pfizer, Rennet, and things like Carrageenan. Boar's Head is family-owned, owner-operated small business. It's a takedown by BlackRock. That's
Hold
what's
on,
going
you
on
missed
with,
a couple here.
Sorry. That's what is going on with Boar's Head? I didn't hear about anything with Boar's Head.
Yeah, I don't know about. Oh, Boar's Head. That's the meat company that had a bunch of meat they had to recall because they were hiring illegals that I think were not keeping to strict safety standards. But did you do Lee Walden earlier? YouTube, nothing like a little Philippine man creating a castle out of clay on speed dial. And then there's a video that Ekaminavilis posted.
Oh yeah, best subtitles,
Yeah, best subtitles video.
Terrorist interview. All right, let's try it out.
I'm still digging that Russian music.
Zach caught me censoring. Yeah. I accidentally censored Ekaminavilis, but I have a personal policy of not reading 15 rants from the same person.
Oh, okay.
Once a stronghold of forces loyal to captured dictator Saddam Hussein, the city of Tikrit, here in northern Iraq, is now firmly under the control of American forces. Or is it? These members of the Iraqi resistance movement, still loyal to Saddam Hussein, think otherwise.
The Americans tell lies. Each day our forces grow stronger. Each day we move closer to our goal of driving the infidel... What are they?
Nothing, carry on.
Driving the infidels from our motherland. We are not afraid to... Are they subtitles? They are, aren't they?
No.
Well, what do I need subtitles for? Can't you understand what I'm saying? I studied English at the bloody American University in Cairo.
Well, obviously I can understand what you're saying.
Oh, you see how they condescend to us with their subtitles.
Well, maybe it's a teletext, for the hearing impaired.
Teletext?
No, a lot of TVs come with teletext nowadays.
Wait, say something again.
My friend has an 80
Hey, how come he doesn't need subtitles?
Well, obviously he's comprehensible.
No, I'm not.
Look,
I speak perfect English. She sells seashells by the seashore. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Round the ragged rocks, Oh!
The situation remains as dangerous and volatile as ever here in northern Iraq. While the rebuilding continues...
What? I can't understand you speak English. Where are your subtitles now? Ooh, your thing...
I
you guys
prefer
ever
the... Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you guys watch The Curse of Oak Island at all? Have you ever watched it?
Seen it before. I mean, I'm familiar with Oak Island.
It's a reality. They're showing they're digging for the treasure there on Oak Island, but there's like a blacksmith from like Nova Scotia that they like consult with all the time, and the guy speaks perfectly fine, but they got the subtitles on him every time, and it's I feel so bad for the dude. I'm like, he's speaking perfect English with a little bit of an accent, and it just kills me every time. I'm like, would you take the subtitles off this poor guy?
I call them river Brits, like the ones that...
I saw you say something about that earlier.
River Brits.
Everyone knows what I mean when I say it, though, even though it's not like a term. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of one of those river Brits. Kind of shifty, like...
Longboat living.
Yep. Lee Walden said, BB, have you read the book Foundation? Have you seen the broadcast on Apple? Curious your thoughts. I have not done either. I have heard about it.
I am familiar with Foundation, and I'm not particularly fond of the show. I mean,
many such cases.
Yeah.
Funky Pam, $50. Thank you, Funky Pam. Giving my money to good shit. Appreciate you all.
Love you.
Thank you.
Good shit is what we're going for. Lee Walden, Patrick, would you consider a book review newsletter or maybe a short of your favorite writings and poems?
Here's an answer.
Book review newsletter. He does Reading Epic Lit I think. Mateo 127, Jenna Ellis is a sex worker. Just saying. Okay. Dirk McGurkin, Disney owns Fox, but they won't include the Fox fanfare at the start of Star Wars movies. Never understood that. The Fox fanfare set the mood for the OG Star Wars, part of the subversion. Yep. Keith O'Higgins here. Hugh Jackman has a great center of gravity. I get it. Lee, Zach, I know you're a real busy MF. That said, have you thought of being a host of a weekly town hall with We the People?
You mean like on my channel? You want me to host a town hall? I mean, I don't know that I'd be able to fit that in, but I mean, if somebody else wants to organize something like that, I might take part from time to time.
Liberty Lion sent me a link to Predator versus Wolverine comic book, so they have done it in the comics.
All right. Wow.
Keith O'Higgins, I worry for Hollywood. If Kamala wins, she'll make Tim Waltz head of the casting couch for all horses in westerns.
Did you guys see the meme that President Trump shared of the Tim Walz motorcade crash? It was it was the scene from Vacation when Chevy Chase is driving and the woman in the Corvette comes up, except it's Tim Walz driving and the Corvette pulls up and it's a horse driving, and then he sees me get excited.
Wait, and Donald Trump retweeted that?
He did, yeah.
Oh, God, that's great.
See, man, I talk about reverse indicators all the time and like these serious things, but honestly, one of the biggest to me is like amidst the witch hunt and the stole of the election and Russia, China, and like, does Donald Trump seem worried?
No.
Or does he seem like he's just memeing every day of his life?
Yeah.
Like,
he seems to be having more fun than ever. Like, you know, like that last, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, he did a rally, and I was like, man, he's just having a great freaking time.
Did you guys happen to see him at the Moms for Liberty conference? Oh my God!
I saw clips from it.
Oh, well, the clip where he talks about TDS.
Oh yes, I did see that.
Okay,
So
hold on.
good.
I gotta pull this up because it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Okay, you can continue with those. And
we got from Pilot Bryce. We have a $200 rant.
What?
Here is back pay for monthly subscriber the last 2 years. Covers tonight for when Zach and Patrick joined since that lady missed. Also, how do I become a monthly subscriber through Rumble iPad app? I don't know about the iPad thingy, but thank you very much for the support.
Thank you. Yeah,
very much appreciate
very
it.
generous. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bryce. Lee Walden, that's how I learned to dance with my aunties. Q fan addict. Zach, I watched one of your shows where you were trying to recall the medical terminology for transgender surgery when going from female to male. Think tonsillectomy, hysterectomy. It's called addictomy. Addictomy. Betty 429 sent a Cyrillic message over. I'm getting some of those lately. I'll go into the little translate machine and see what this says. First class for alpha in Cyrillic. Crane Op, enjoy tonight. You enjoy tonight. So thank you, gentlemen. Tongue in cheek. It was fun. Don't recommend or say anything lightly unless expressed.
Okay, I have this pulled up here. This is brilliant. Let me share, add to stage.
At other times in your lives, and then just some advice, because you come under fire a lot. Our moms are standing for things that often the media attacks them on. We'd love to get some advice from you about running for office.
Yeah. So I would say don't do it.
I don't know. Run for office. We want you to run for office.
I do say this, though. It is nastier to run as a Republican. It is. Now, I'm the ultimate, they suffer from a thing called TDS. Do you know what that is? TDS, it's a horrible, horrible terminal disease. The mind, it destroys the mind before the body, but the body eventually goes. Trump syndrome. They have it at levels. They can't even stand their life. They can't stand anything.
They are, man. Like, it is a disease. It started as a meme.
Totally is.
I love that. It destroys the mind before it destroys the body, but the body eventually goes.
Couple more. Keith O'Higgins. Bongino fills the Rush Limbaugh hole.
Yep.
Whereas Badlands fills the Art Bell hole. That's a huge compliment. Except for
Yeah.
Alpha.
Yeah.
His head is too
Yeah, I
big
like
for
that.
any hole. Alpha, your head's too big. Pilot Bryce, $50 after the 200, so $250 from Pilot Bryce.
Wow.
Got subscribed monthly. Here's the rest of the back pay since I couldn't submit the value I wanted. Never watched live due to flying, but never miss a DPH defected, baseless, or Liberty Den.
Thank you.
Awesome,
Pilot
man.
Bryce.
Thank you very much.
I'm putting the clues together as an expert digger that he's a pilot who flies an aircraft. I don't want to make assumptions. Cranop
Yeah,
59. Fuck nuts in New York just put his Trump's penalty phase off until December. What do you say to that, friends?
I thought it was November 26th, but I mean, that's splitting hairs.
I say that this is a fake trial completely. And for anybody that thinks that that's silly, Donald Trump literally refers to it as a fake trial and has from the day it started. Nothing is going to happen with it.
Yes.
Except for potentially a photo op of Trump in a jail cell, which will only make him more powerful. So it's a narrative warfare.
Yeah. All of the legal actions against Trump will go nowhere ultimately. Yeah. So it's, there's no jeopardy.
That's why, like, I think, you know, I get that sometimes people can be like, oh, you say fake too much, or people say fake too much. It's like, well, if nothing is going to come of it, and if we have been saying nothing is going to come of it for years, and then you freak out about it for a year, and then nothing comes of it, then it turns out it was fake. Like, that's kind of the same thing. All right, that's everything. A lot of rants tonight. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, appreciate your support. Everyone.
I think we fixed Hollywood. I think we fixed pretty much most things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't drink Goldschlager if you're going to get an X-ray.
Yeah.
Don't
or just in
don't
general.
do that. Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
So I
Great
guess
seeing
I
us.
have to end the show. So let's. Is there a quippy clip that I can play? Here we
Say
go.
a quip, J-Treat.
A quip?
Yeah.
But the people are retarded.
Oh, then that doesn't end the show. What's
it's just becoming awkward.
Oh my God, look at all these clips of me in here.
I actually like when this happens because it just emphatically proves how unprofessional we are. Which will help
Isn't there
us
like
when we-
is there an ending video to
when we have our day in
just-
court and we are accused of being a psychop, we can play clips like this to demonstrate emphatically that we never had any idea what we were doing.
We were
and
never
too
serious
retarded
people.
to be charged. We were not
All
of
right.
sound mind.
All right, I found the ending. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate the support, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Oops.
We're still